being that is the pleroma, the place where past, present, and future exist simultaneously. The hermit's mastery of time is further evidenced by the fact that in the 15th century tarot deck Visconti Sforza, the hermit is called Father Time, and does not hold a lamp, but rather an hourglass. Another interesting version is the Tabula Mundi deck, where the hermit is descending a stone stairway into the depths, into the unconscious. Behind him stands the three-headed dog, Cerberus, who guards the gates of the underworld, which can also be seen in the hermit card of Aleister Crowley's Thoth deck. The hermit is able to access the treasures of his unconscious and bring it back into the light of consciousness. The hermit archetype can also be seen as somewhat of a madman. Nietzsche evokes the figure of a madman who runs into the marketplace with a lit lantern in the bright morning hours, shouting that he's looking for God, while the crowd laugh at him. The madman mournfully declares, "God is dead, and we have killed him." In a similar fashion, Diogenes the cynic would walk around in the marketplace in full daylight with a lamp. When asked what he was doing, he would answer, "I am looking for a man." Most people weren't even worthy of the category human, for that demands virtue. The people who walk around worrying about money, power, and social conventions are the real madmen. Diogenes, who rejected all social conventions in favor of a simple life in conformity with nature, is the only reasonable human being in sight. Plato is supposed to have said of Diogenes that he was a Socrates gone mad. In the parable of the cave, Plato depicts prisoners chained to a wall inside a cave, who are only able to see the shadow forms of objects being carried around and mistake them for reality. When one of them is set free and leaves the cave, his eyes slowly adjust to the light until he can look at the people, animals, water, trees, stars, and eventually the sun itself, which fills him with awe. Immediately, he returns to the cave to tell others, stumbling around in the darkness. When he reaches the prisoners and speaks of the wondrous things outside the cave, they call him a madman and would kill him or anyone who attempted to drag them out. The figure of Merlin was inspired by the bard Myrddin Wylde, Myrddin the Wild, in Welsh legend. He's said to have gone mad after a particularly bloody battle and retreated into the woods. Featuring the wild man in the woods motif, Myrddin became a half-savage, living on the fringe of civilization, possessing great power and wisdom. Similarly, Merlin withdraws into the forest because he has gone mad and lives like a wild animal. When he's brought back into the world of men, his madness breaks out anew, unable to bear the superficial concerns of men. So he remains in the forest and devotes himself to his astronomical observations, exploring the stars and singing about future happenings. It was only later that he became known as the counselor of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, who set forth on the quest for the Holy Grail. The madman can be seen as a doomsayer or someone who brings gifts of enlightenment, but he is almost always misunderstood by others. The integration of the sage archetype is, generally speaking, the task of the second half of life. When we are young, we have to learn to live, and when we are old, we have to learn to die. Death is psychologically as important as birth. Jung tells us that when we are threatened with complete death, the unconscious apparently disregards it. Life behaves as if it were going on. This is merely a psychological fact. So, it is better for all people to live on, to look forward to the next day, as if one had to spend centuries, and look forward to the great adventure that lies ahead. Then one lives according to nature, and one lives right into one's death. When one is afraid of death and looks backwards, then one becomes petrified and dies before one's time. In a time when loneliness is rampant, when a person can be surrounded by a group of people and feel even more alienated than being alone, the wise old man comes to teach us the forgotten art of solitude, the voluntary withdrawal from society, and the ability to make a smooth transition back into the world again when it is time to return. Those who have neglected their inner self to the extent that they exist solely in relation to others have failed to listen to this inner voice. Their self-identity relies exclusively on others, so they lose themselves in the crowd. There comes a time, however, when one is forced to turn inwards, when one realizes that one must accept the lonely path to self-realization in order to attain peace. The misalignment between one's outer world and one's inner world is frequently the cause of a midlife crisis. After a long time, the hermit may become enlightened and transform into a sage, and feel that he has a responsibility to share his wisdom with others. In Nietzsche's Thus Spoke Zarathustra, the prophet Zarathustra leaves his home at the age of 30 and goes into the mountains, where he enjoys his spirit and solitude, and for 10 years he does not tire of it. But at last, a change comes over his heart, and one morning he steps before the sun and speaks to it thus: "You great star, what would your happiness be had you not those for whom you shine? For 10 years you have climbed to my cave. You would have tired of your light and of the journey, had it not been for me and my eagle and my serpent. But we waited for you every morning, took your overflow from you, and blessed you for it. Behold, I'm weary of my wisdom. Like a bee that has gathered too much honey, I need hands outstretched to receive it. I would give away and distribute until the wise among men find joy again in their folly, and the poor in their riches. For that I must descend to the depths, as you do in the evening when you go behind the sea, and still bring light to the underworld, you over-rich star. Like you, I must go under, go down, as is said by men to whom I want to descend. So bless me then, you quiet eye, that can look even upon all too great happiness without envy. Bless the cup that wants to overflow, that water may flow from it golden, and carry everywhere the reflection of your delight. Behold, this cup wants to become empty again, and Zarathustra wants to become man again. Thus began Zarathustra's downgoing. Zarathustra's solitude was very fruitful, but there comes a moment when he grows weary of his wisdom. Solitude, then, seems only to be a temporary matter. Thus he begins his descent into mankind. Upon reaching the marketplace with his gifts and teachings, he is met with indifference and laughter. Zarathustra grows sad and says, "They do not understand me. I am not the mouth for these ears." Nietzsche, who spent his later period in life almost in complete solitude, was acutely aware of his psychological isolation, and joked to one of his correspondents that he was the hermit of Sils Maria, a cool place in Switzerland where he spent his summers at. He also stated, "I am solitude become man." Nietzsche was a solitary wanderer, a free spirit in the wilderness, who would spend most of his time writing, and despite his frequent ailments, he would take long walks that could last several hours. In fact, he stated that no thoughts are worth anything unless they are conceived of while walking. Solitude is a return to oneself, the breathing of fresh air. Nietzsche writes, "When I am among the many, I live as the many do, and I do not think as I really think. After a time it always seems as though they want to banish me from myself and rob me of my soul, and I grow angry with everybody and fear everybody. I then require the desert so as to grow good again." While solitude is essential in order to know oneself, loneliness can be destructive. Introspective solitude is compatible with life in community, but it is also necessary to retreat into complete solitude once in a while in order to receive its fruits. Depression is the cry of the soul for growth. We all need to make many round trips to the desert at various points in our lives in order to replenish our souls. That is why it is essential to have a spiritual hermitage one can go to. The call of the sage's journey begins with confusion, doubt, and a deep desire to find the truth. The first problem we usually encounter in our quest for truth is disillusionment. We find that each individual has their own truth, which can be as good as anyone else's, as long as one is virtuous. There are truths, but no absolute truth. How do we then choose what is objectively true? We will inevitably struggle with the problem of commitment in the context of relativism, the absence of objective truth. One must first start by finding a way of life that fits best for oneself. In the midst of an existential crisis, Danish theologian and philosopher Søren Kierkegaard wrote in his journal, "What I really want is to be clear in my mind, what I am to do, not what I am to know, except in so far as a certain knowledge must precede every action. The thing is to understand myself, to see what God really wishes me to do. The thing is to find a truth which is true for me, to find the idea for which I can live and die. For Kierkegaard, truth is subjectivity, and subjectivity is truth. One must put one's own existence before anything else, and accept responsibility for it. There's no point in bracketing one's life in favor of abstract theories about human existence, or mindlessly following any system. For what is the use of having a worldview which one does not live, but only holds up to the view of others? To find one's truth is certainly no easy task, because where there is a path, it is probably someone else's path. We must walk alone where the forest is darkest, and where there is no path. When we experience the dark night of the soul, our truth may shatter, and we realize how futile it is to us. The truth that truly matters to us, however, does not shatter in our moment of despair. It sustains us and keeps us afloat, even though we may still rebel against it. After finding one's subjective truth and expressing it in the world, the sage must align it with the truth beyond himself. Truth must necessarily go beyond our subjectivity, for it is the objective truth that grounds us in the eternal, and this is only possible if one has a relationship with God, a higher self that overwhelms oneself, so that, paradoxically, one truly becomes oneself. In other words, one's individual will is aligned with objective truth. In a medieval manuscript, a king lives on the rim of a wheel, which we may call our subjective and temporal truths: money, pleasure, fame, power, etc. The king moves in a never-ending process of I'm reigning, I've reigned, I've lost my kingdom, and I shall reign. He spends all his life worrying about what he's going to lose because of his attachment to things that are temporal. In the center, however, is the objective and eternal truth, represented as Christ, a symbol of the self, which stays eternally firm no matter what happens in life. This is God, an infinite sphere, the center of which is everywhere, the circumference nowhere. The sage seeks to align himself to this infinite center and attain inner calm. The self is a God image. He who knows himself knows God. We reach God through the self, but God is not the self, for he is behind and above it. The ancient Greek philosophers used the word epithea, not to be confused with apathetic, to describe the state of wisdom and tranquility one finds oneself in when aligned with this eternal center. One ceases to be disturbed by one's wild emotional fluctuations and goes along with whatever life throws at one. Unlike the undisciplined person, the sage is able to contemplate and be quiet without constantly being assaulted by his own defects and negative thoughts. He is at peace with life and himself, as he has accepted his flaws and is focused on his spiritual duty. In the heart of every human being there dwells a sage. The highest achievement of the sage is freedom from attachment to temporary things. This does not mean that he has to become an ascetic, but rather that he knows deep within that material concerns are of secondary importance in life, and so he does not fear losing them. The only thing he fears is the loss of his soul. Meaningless, meaningless, says the teacher, utterly meaningless. Everything is meaningless. Thus begins the book of Ecclesiastes. The Hebrew word used is hevel, vapor, which figuratively can be translated as meaningless, vain, insubstantial, or futile. It is the story of Kohelet. He had become the king of Israel and had all the power, wealth, and pleasure one could get, all gifts from the God who loved him. Yet, despite those gifts, he began to drift away from God's commands. He experienced much knowledge and wisdom, but with much wisdom comes much sorrow. The more knowledge, the more grief. He realizes that everything he did was meaningless, a chasing after the wind. He wrote this book at the end of his life and concludes that all the things we pour our lives into, our projects, our hard work, our rivalries, alliances, and successes, will vanish into thin air. His wisdom is summed up in his final words. Now all has been heard. Here is the conclusion of the matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the duty of all mankind. For God will bring every deed into judgment, including every hidden thing, whether it is good or evil. Unlike the magician archetype, who wants to transform reality by changing consciousness, the wise old man has little or no need to control or change the world. He just wants to understand it. The sage's path is the journey to find out the truth about ourselves, our world, and the universe. Perhaps the most liberating and free moment in life is the moment of truth that illuminates our lives, disperses confusion, and clarifies what must be done. As it is stated in the Gospel of John, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." When we are on our spiritual quest, the part of us that wants to experience absolute truth directly is frequently discouraged. Various spiritual practices around the world encourage people to progress slowly. Care is taken so that unprepared minds do not crack when experiencing the ecstasy associated with the eternal truth. There's no shortcut to enlightenment. At some point, the sage stops pursuing knowledge and gains wisdom. Wisdom is not just knowing the right thing to do, but also doing the right thing. Real wisdom does not merely cause us to know, it makes us be in a different way. Those who practice wisdom are excellent contemplators of nature. The sage is content with reality as it is, and has a crystal clear view on how to spend the remaining years of his life. He who has a why can bear almost any how. His whole life has led him to this very moment, where struggle and conflict finally turn into peace, and he delights in the beauty of the world and the simple things in life, whereas the average person has lost touch with the world and does not see reality as it is. The sage sees himself as part of a cosmic consciousness, and he experiences ecstasy, standing outside of himself without ceasing to be himself. To see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wild flower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour.
All people, including all beings, are manifestations or disguises of the total reality behind this cosmos.
All you truthers don't understand that I had to look into my psychology to understand you. You're all belligerent combatives. You're all oppositional defiant. You all take up positions to find a cause to justify your meaningless existence. You'll fight anybody to act like you're self-righteous and true. And it doesn't get you good results, okay? When I see all these people who want to start all the interactions with everybody, not with God-given rights, not with the law of the land, not with freedom and principles, not with process on how to enslave ourselves, let's argue over the shape of the planet. I start thinking you're a fucking agent. These people won't even listen to legal and lawful God-given rights, property and freedom and principles. You're non-credible. You're fucking inept. You have no self-awareness and awareness of others. You're defiant, right, and resistant, and you're not received well when you're out in the public. And that's the difference between you and I. Write it down. You're a fucking moron. So I see right through all you motherfuckers. I don't give a fuck what comes out of your mouth. Love and light, ascension. We're all coming together for truth and freedom. You're full of shit. People in the middle of nowhere who have everything they need and can co-create with nature and are in touch with the Tao, the way to the way, they don't consider you wise. They consider you be a bunch of mentally and emotionally ill folks who have personality disorder. I know why you do what you do. I don't care if you won't tell anybody. I know me, so I know you. You're not the centric point of this universe. All right, at best, if you want to be, it's an I am that am presence. Confront the cause and effect, bring the solution. You're a fucking slave. I and others have brought the solution. You won't embody it. You don't want to be a free man or woman. So don't come to me and tell me I'm raining on your parade because I'm doing what the fuck you won't. It's not that you can't, it's you won't, because you're a fucking coward. Because if you don't stand for rights, freedom, and principles, you don't get them. That means you've taken mine. I don't accept that. All right? I don't respect that, because you don't have a right to give up your rights. They're God-given. God can take them away. You have to embody them. If you don't, you've done wrong. You're unjust. You're an infidel. I'm talking into your spirit. I'm talking objective truth. I'm telling you what the fuck needs to happen or else. When the or else comes, I don't want to hear it. Don't you want personal choice? Don't you want property rights? Don't you want your ability to defend yourself? Don't you want the fascism to end? I want to vomit how easy it is to mind and heart control the majority of these fucking slaves. You got to put the work in. You got to put the time in. You got to show up for yourself and others. You got to have conviction. You got to live your information. You ain't doing that. They're not sitting in a fucking hole for a year, viewing themselves and reflecting and trying to find a space of peace and empowerment. They're not doing any of it. The court doesn't know you. Policy enforcement doesn't know you. The DA doesn't know you. The U.S. corporation doesn't know you. The feds don't know you. If they do know you, it's for being a loser failure and fucking up your own affairs and mismanaging it and having to go to jail at best. This is way deeper than rap. This ain't about no court. This is about taking your soul and keeping you here for thousands of years. I suspect I can't prove it. Well, you can't be nice and kind and polite with these people. You got to be a godly, righteous man, and you can't be an infidel, and you can't be equally yoked with infidels. You got a duty to render aid. You got a duty to uphold God's law. You got a duty to exercise your rights. Why the fuck ain't you doing it? But we can get in our ego and compete with each other over bullshit, or we can really be honest with ourselves and each other about where the fuck we failed ourselves and our family and our future and our lineage.
Greetings, folks. We're back at it. Penal Power is in the back chamber. I'm going to let him in. How are you, Mr. Penal Power? What do you got going on today, sir?
Well, you got 99 watching, 33 minutes in at 3:33. How are you doing today, sir?
Oh, man, he's off on a number counting jack. How come you changed your name to Chris now? Your name's not Chris.
Chris? How is my name Chris?
That's not you?
Sir, can you get out of your imagination
Why are you
and
breaking up?
disagreements, please?
Age is here now? Man, we're just off to a rousing start, huh?
There you go. What's up, Sean?
Are you 6 Cage down there? You're not 6 Cage Reality, are you?
Sorry, what? No, I haven't commented. I don't comment, really. If you ever see anyone with... Yeah.
All right, that's all I need. Just yes or no. I don't need a whole thing.
No, but I haven't heard somebody's been like cloning my name going around and shit.
That's great. That's good. Mr. 6 Cage, just hit the link and come on up if you'd like to talk with me. If my warthog creature is here, I'd like to speak with him. I have some news to share with him. Brian from High Impact was texting me, as you may remember yesterday. I kind of went off a little bit. Right? Kind of jumped out the window. I've done it before. I'll probably do it again. And we had a pretty decent conversation. And he's kind of earned back my respect in a sense. And, he goes, I thought you were good. I go, Brian, just because I'm not nice, kind, and polite doesn't necessarily mean I'm not good. Just because you are nice, kind, and polite doesn't mean you are good. I go, he brought up the bitch thing. He goes, he had a good sense of humor about it. He actually called me up, right? There's many folks, the majority of folks, including like Wizard Creature and others, who they get into it with me on here, and then they just run off and talk shit everywhere else and insulate themselves. So for Brian, again, I got to take it on face value, right? I can't go, hey, I'm always right. I jump out the window. I start talking shit and then, hold to that. If he hits me up and then winds up calling me and saying, hey, bro, I just don't get back to people and I got no issues with you. I actually really like you and respect you. And you may be a bit further along in this shit than me when it comes to the legal, lawful shit. But, I'm open to having you on again. I got to take it on face value. I can't do the whole, he was ignoring me for months and it was almost a year. He never got back to me. He didn't ask me to be on again. I'm not going to, hold to that. So like I told him, I said, listen, Brian, privately, you always seem to be equitable and honorable. You're a nice, kind, polite person. I'm not always that, but I try to keep it real and I try to keep it radically authentic and I try to keep it accountable, So he said, bottom line is I told him, I don't think that it's honorable and I don't think that it's pure intention to sell face coverings during the last 4 years and say protest on them. I'm sure you could understand that. I told him that. And I said to him, I said, bro, if you have me back on your broadcast, we may be in good humor and in good faith with each other. And, you may have me in good spirits, but just because I'm next to you and I like you or even respect you for certain things doesn't mean that I'm going to play favorites. I said to him, I said, bro, you got to understand the position that I occupy. I'm not always comfortable with what I do, and I don't always like it, but on some level, I guess the spirit in me feels it's necessary. So I told him, I said, you weren't getting back to me. It seemed like you pushed me to the side like many other folks because I'm viewed as a loose cannon and a liability. He said that wasn't really the case. So I have to take his word as a man. Right. But I told him, I said, if I come on there again, bro, I'm going to ask you why you got a license, registration, insurance, and plates, why you pay the slave tax, why you folks are voting, and why you still keep conflating public and private and statute and policy and code with law. We've been over this enough. We know what the fucking game is. We know what the deception is. I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to ride on what I see as not absolute truth, but true enough. Right. I can't allow these folks with my entree into whatever this is. I can't sit idly and quietly by, receive benefits and privileges, and not pipe the fuck up. So when he called me, he had a pretty good humor. I explained to him what I was doing. I said, bro, he goes, I got my bitch here with me. He's kind of laughing about it, trying to have a good humor about it. I said, I'm not calling her a bad woman, because he said, she's a good, loving woman. That's not why I said that bitch, right? I wasn't really even trying to demean her. I explained to him. I said, bro, what I was trying to allude to is that I caught the reading that potentially that woman we are with sees a man in me that she doesn't see in you at this point. And I know that that could be triggering and offensive. I get that. But this is the point of brotherhood. This is the point of, in a sense, honor and loyalty to a cause. Is we could say anything about anybody, and then it comes down to, is it true or not? And if it is true, why? And what do we have to do next? If it's not, then we let it go. So I explained to him, bro, there's times on here I'm going to jump out the window. I'm going to speak on people I've been around. I'm not going to be nice, kind, and polite. I'm going to go the other way. And I'm going to try to trigger with what I read and what I see. Because I want to get down to a real fucking conversation about who and what we are and what the fuck we're doing and not doing.
You can only trigger somebody who doesn't know who they are, the insecurity and that. Somebody,
right, and like I said, he seemed to have a pretty.
Anything, it's not going to affect me at all. Why? Because you can say or do whatever you want, because I know what the fuck I am and what I'm doing. So I just laugh in the corner, and I'll just be laughing.
Like I said, he had a pretty good humor about it. We went over the situation. He said that he just doesn't really get back to people a lot of the time, and then it might be argued. I don't know. I'd ask him, do you think that I pulled an ego or power card? Right? Because I do that at sometimes, you might say. Like, don't do the I don't get back to people game, because I'm like that too. And it's not really about ego and pride. It's just, I'm not just people. So you can't come at me on one level and go, hey, bro, I really love you. I respect you. I think that you occupy a leadership position in this venue, in this game, and then put me in the same pile as like everybody else. That's what I had to explain to him from my perspective, and tell me if I'm doing ego and pride or not, because that's what brotherhood, that's what honor, that's what loyalty to a cause is about. You keep me in mind because I keep the truth in mind. It's not even about making it personal. And that's what I had to explain to him, like I have to do a lot of people. I'm not doing the Rose 7-7. Why didn't you text me back? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, hey, bro, we're doing something different here. That's what you say, right? I'm living that. So we're not just anybody. So we got to keep each other in mind, and we got to work together, and we got to focus on the ultimate truth. And then here's another one, just to be clear. And Brian at some point can let me know if he doesn't like me sharing details of our private conversation publicly. But again, this is why most people can't go the distance with me, because I don't give a fuck. If you're going to say it to me privately, you're going to say it publicly, because God's watching either way. And if we got conscience and we're being authentic and accountable, then there should be nothing said in the shadows that can't be said in the light. So I even had to tell him, I go, bro, what are you doing on there advertising DeCastro and this fucking activism fund? I said it was a fucking pure embarrassment, and he agreed. Right? So like now we have to get to the conversation about why folks are entitled to hit each other up and start pushing each other's fucking business when their performance is abominable and embarrassing, right? You should not be rewarded for that. You should sit in reflection and introspection and tighten your fucking game up. And you shouldn't even have the balls to come out that quickly, begging for money and telling people you're going to sell them board games and all the rest of it. So, hey, bro, sometimes we got to do accountability sessions as men. I'm not doing content creator where we know another story and tell another story behind the scenes, and then we come on here and act like different people. But there's no honor in that. There's no loyalty to a cause in that. There's no authenticity in that. So I'm not going to engage in that. And I'm going to encourage other folks, say what the fuck they mean what they say, right? And stop fucking supporting and enabling shit that is not checking out. When the math doesn't check out, then you got to question that. And then you got to put it aside.
Yeah, because people want to go along to get along, right? It's a lot easier to say what people want to hear instead of saying what they don't want to hear, or just being being authentic with it. Yeah, it's not going to get you too many friends or people that, most of the time. But,
listen, bro, like I said, I got to give it to them.
Ab KO. It's all divide and conquer. So even the people that are thinking like this, they want us to fight amongst each other and never get anywhere, so you can't organize or grow to something where they'll actually affect change in the world instead of, just wishing or thinking about it. It's done very purposefully, Look, even the people that are, quote, on the, people who have their own thoughts and that are on this kind of mindset, it's all interpersonal fighting. Right?
Look at this. Cage, look at this retard down there. Someone is going through everything that's ever been put out there about me to find a picture to try to prove something. So you found a picture that's probably publicly available from like over 5 years ago where the girl I was with, the woman I was with, took a picture of me. What's your point?
Why do they have the Cage name? Change your name.
I don't know, it's another loser, stalker, slave. So I'm just gonna give you your leave. I'm gonna let you take your leave now, 6 Cage person, because you're another punk coward. Instead of coming up here and addressing me, you're gonna go on Facebook to other people's shit and find pictures a woman took of me in the mirror, with her. Like what's your point?
What does that?
What does that amount to?
What does that even do?
Yeah, what does that amount to?
It's funny though.
I'm supposed to be ashamed of that.
I went on camera one time on fucking one of these, and I had somebody take a screenshot and then come to my shit under my name with my face on it. Like, hi. They've deleted it though. I don't know. It's very odd.
It's of little to no consequence. Okay, you have a publicly available picture of me with a woman I was with 5 years ago. Great stuff. All right.
I don't know, man. That's the internet for you.
Let's get on with the docket here. Unless anyone else wants to come up and speak about anything. Peanut, where's my warthog creature? I've summoned him. He hasn't appeared. I'd like to speak with my warthog creature. There's a new warthog intro as well. I guess I can preview that.
Watch that new Copflix, please, sir.
Yeah, bro. I just said I'm going to it. Will you relax? I just asked you what's going on with you. You said nothing. Then I go to the thing, and you're like, "Oh yeah." You just cut me right off. Oh my God, can we go to the thing? I'm doing it.
I do have an opinion though on one thing, and I have said it before.
Wow, you're going to do opinions now? Are you going to imagine disagreements and shit too?
No, you had the three rectangles, right? The 3 horizontal rectangles as opposed to the vertical rectangles that you have right now on the display. And what happens, as you'll notice, like on my name and your name, you can't see your full name. It just says Paul Enslaved the Mad ... So on top of that, the layout just sucks, in my opinion. It also doesn't include your overlay in the background or whatever, the backdrop, rather, with the Ouroboros kind of thing, with the, Skynet metaverse.
I don't necessarily need that, and I can control that. If I want to change that, I can change that.
All right, but now you can see it's the Madman. See, I was curious to know what the fuck it said. Yeah.
Fucking the gears are turning, bro.
It sucks how the name kind of gets caught in your face, like it's going into your cheekbone there. But other than that, it's a better.
Does it occur to you that you're constantly focused on all these extra details that don't matter as much as the main idea? Like, does it occur to you that I do this to create a different view of me in the conversation? You're focusing on the name tag down there rather than the shot. Right? It's a close-up shot. It's more intimate.
You're Mr. Wonderful.
To get a little wild, or in the beginning, I kind of go to this, right?
Yeah, see, that's where it's at.
And then that also alludes to the mandala, the loop within the loop, the wheel within the wheel, as is happening here so often, and such is life, right?
There you go.
It's the shot. The shot is for a reason.
Start calling people.
Are you directing now? Are you passively? Cage, could you please shut up? I don't know why he thinks I ever really want him here. I've told him this for over a year and a half. I go, Cage, I already got to deal with this kid who doesn't talk when I ask him to and then talks when I don't need him to. And now I got a second version. It's too much. Can we get someone else up here, please? I'm going to go in the middle because I'm more important than you two. Jack Talcott. We get some other folks up here, please, to have a conversation. If not, I'm going to get on with the docket. I don't really need this. I do a 3-hour broadcast. I've gotten really good at like timing it out and figuring how to, present and also kind of fill time / not. I've gotten pretty good at it. It doesn't really require. If you noticed yesterday, I did pretty much the whole broadcast by myself. And I find that I come on every day and go, how am I going to fill the 3 hours? And then I get 3 hours in and go, I could do more if I wanted to. So never in that process have I learned that I need Cage. And I don't want you to take that personal. I got
That's fine.
so many fucking slaves out here that I can focus on and comment on. What's just another one?
Oh. Yeah. Well, we could get into something.
You see what I'm saying? Please, don't be around. You see what I'm saying? I'm sure you see what I'm saying, right? You get it.
Well, in the context of this broadcast, yeah, because it's like it's kind of low level if you, in the when you get into certain things, right?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's because this is a really low level broadcast that I don't need you. Right? Yeah, that'll work.
No. It depends what you're trying to, what the topic is, right? If you want
There's
to get
no
into the
topic, sir. Why do you? I'm not Jack Talcott. I don't set a fake topic and then not adhere to it. I come on and I just go with the moment and I speak from the heart and then I go with whatever I look at an hour before I come on. I take about an hour before each broadcast and I go through kind of what the list is, kind of what's going on.
Okay, what I meant by that, I should reframe that. It's more like entertainment than educational.
It's not though. It's not. You're doing that. It's everything. You're doing a Talcott now. You're saying that I only offer entertainment. You and Talcott offer the knowledge and the wisdom. You're lying to yourselves and everyone else. I have everything.
I'm not saying I offer anything.
There's times where we do knowledge and wisdom, conscience and awareness. There's times where we're kind of upbeat and inspiring. There's times where we're going to the current events and pointing out the usual looping, fraudulent fear tactics and psychological warfare. We do it all here. So how dare you try to make some false equivocation that you've got a monopoly on information and wisdom, and I'm just the clown entertainment guy.
The sun is hot. How dare you? What are you, Greta Thunberg?
Cage.
How dare
you? Great. You don't do a broadcast 7 days a week. You would have no idea what it would be like to fill 3 hours a day, 7 days a week for 500 days straight. It's almost impossible not to incorporate an entertainment aspect without losing your mind.
Well, see, I can't really comment.
Dude,
I'm saying what I'm saying because I'm only on the panel. I don't go and watch anyone's nonsense.
Just call it like it really is. You're a boring, unfunny, unclever, uninteresting personality, and I'm the opposite of that. So if you want to like pad your insecure ego with Paulie's just an entertaining clown, I'm the wisdom guy.
I never
whatever
said
you need to do.
I've never.
You're just
said
not entertaining. So stop insulting me indirectly because you're not that. And I'm everything. I'm everything, you're barely anything. That's
okay.
That's the narrative right now, okay? And I'm not interested if I'm going to be perceived as bullying either.
To it, huh? There you go.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
This is not. This is a Paul.
You can't even say it with a straight face.
This is a Reed Pollock, okay? It's not a cageocracy. It's a Reed Pollock. So I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. I'm going to say what I want. If you want to address the grievances or rebut it, you're free to do that up until I'm done with you, and then I just remove you. Here's another clog-nosed beta male cretin that now I'm going to have to cycle and spin with. How are you, clog-nosed beta male cretin?
I'm a boss. I'm your boss's boss.
All right, you're done. Goodbye. Just hang out back there. Relax.
See Tommy.
Freak, what's going on, man? What do you got?
Did you see Tommy implode after you left?
No, I'll stop you right there. I didn't see it because I don't watch it. I don't put the rest of my day and time on that. There's times throughout the month where I check in on these slaves to find out they're only always talking about me. But no, I'm not like you. I don't spend the rest of my days before and after focusing on these clowns and these cretins who have no fucking life other than talking about me or presenting their mediocre existence to 20 people live. Not interested. Next.
It's interesting that you're talking about like the FBI and other agencies abandoning the low-level police interaction thing. And I didn't mention any of that, by the way, did I? Or
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, that's fine. I saw Timmy had a great solution yesterday, basically saying, go along, get along, and just steal what you can at great value or whatever. Like,
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know
what
what's
he's
funny?
talking about?
I think, speaking of Timmy, I find Timmy to be more intelligent, and I mean the Timmy from South Park. Timmy from South Park is more intelligent than you, sir.
Well, I mean, if Timmy's the best that you guys have got to put on the table for solutions for the rectifying or eliminating the
dude, you can't even clear out your nasal passages, and you're acting like the solutions guy. This has to be a bit. I'm really starting to kind of go full circle with you and almost enjoy and respect a bit, because there's no way that you could be this inept, this inane, this beta male with your like tone of voice and the way you present, and then the just delusional narratives you put forth. Like you're either doing the best bit ever or you're Talcott's son, and you just don't want to come out of the closet.
Or a bit
I don't know what it is. Probably just a stuffed up apartment.
Can we not talk at the same time? I got to tell you, I kind of was wanting to lean on the panel today or have panel interactions, but I'm like rather quickly going, I'm just going to drop everyone and get into the docket. And if I have to end early, which I don't ever have to, but I may choose to, because this is going nowhere already. You never have anything. It's always a delusional narrative. You're half trolling because you're a loser, failure, and unactualized and unrealized. And then you're going to come here and make some grandiose statement I'm going to latch onto and call you a moron for. This is all like kind of predictable at this point. It's like you've done it over and over again and it goes nowhere. And you don't even really believe what the fuck you're saying and putting forth. There's no way you could, even if it's subconsciously. Like consciously, you may believe it. Subconsciously, you know what the situation is here. You and everyone else you talk about are loser failures going nowhere fast. And the majority of you look half dead already because you've never begun to live. And you speak very much the same as the way that you look and present. I mean, you're a person who we haven't even seen what you look like yet. You're so ashamed of who and what you are and your beingness, you won't even come on camera. So why is it that I would continue to entertain your verbal vomit? Exactly. Why would I do that?
I don't know. I mean,
what do I get out of it? What does this audience get out of it? Yeah, I and this audience are not Jack Slavecott and Slow State and Illuma Slavery. There's actually stuff that goes on here. There's actually great content at times. There's actually great conversation and great energy. You folks are none of that. So what exactly is the benefit to me to even have you here interact with you? Other than to just do this, to whip you up into non-tent, right? And then spit you back out?
All right. Listen. You're the one who's always calling people out. You're the only. Can we see you? Can I see you? You're the one who's always saying.
Yeah, we got to this point now. We're at this point now. Can I see you? Because if not, I'm just going to have you leave. Right? I'm not interested in interacting with people who are ashamed of their beingness and can't show themselves. They obviously have no value and no power and no reason to be.
Yeah. Sure. There I am, Paul.
Is he showing himself? I'm getting doxxed. Is he showing himself?
I think so. Wow, he's real. He's not AI.
You're in a dark hovel that looks like a cave. Could you please turn a light on and get in focus?
That's why I keep the thing off, man. I'm a caveman.
I know, because you probably have gray skin and dark circled eyes on the internet 24/7, 365, like Illuma Slavery and Slow State and the rest.
It's not pretty.
Can we get the camera into focus? Can we get the camera? This is not counting as me seeing you. There's a dark silhouette of you. This is not me seeing who and what you are. This is not me interacting with you man to man at all.
All right, Paulie. I'll come back to
you. Can see me, right? I'm center screen. You can see the light on.
You
You can see me and hear me, right? Am I going to be able to see you and hear you? Can we have a light on? Can we talk like normal people, or are you just introverted and hermited out?
Yeah, man. I told you I have no leadership skill, no charisma, nothing in that regard. And so
I know. So what exactly would be the benefit of me having you here if you freely admit that you have none of these qualities it takes to be a man? And you're wearing an Indiana Jones
I can be a
safari
man.
hat,
I
but you don't leave the
don't
house.
have to be convincing of anything. Obviously, it's not like you're not using some of the concepts that I brought forth to the table and giving me no credit for whatsoever. So obviously, I'm not that.
This is the
charismatic.
home of a mentally and emotionally, spiritually disturbed man. It's obvious.
Sure.
Do you understand that? It's obvious
It
by
doesn't
listening
matter.
to
It
you and
doesn't
then
matter
looking
if
at you
you're
with your goofy
adopting-
hat on
you're
in that house
adopting the
that you
concepts
have
that I
a
put
set
forth
of
to you,
problems and issues
and
that
you don't
you've not
even
dealt with.
you don't even give me the respect.
you're just
to
gonna
say,
fucking talk over
acknowledging
me,
that.
okay?
Yeah, maybe my focus
I'll
was wrong.
see you later, okay? Are you ready to leave?
Yeah.
Are you ready to leave and then go find
Yeah,
another
fine.
panel or hang in my
Yeah.
chat like a loser slug parasite?
Well, you won't
ready
let
for
me.
that?
You don't give me access to the chat because they cry too
Right,
much.
I'm done.
probably.
I'm done with your parasitic, vampiric, looping ways. It's boring me and it's to no avail.
All right, man. Guess you're gonna block me out like Tommy
You
does.
seem to believe you are the definition of a man. Yes, I'll go with that. You're absolutely right. Compared to folks like this, I am the definition of a man. Absolutely, Hannah. You're very quick-witted as well. You're very quick on the uptake. I'm a man. This is a little broken boy right here. Okay? Yes, that's what I'm. That's the contention. Your thoughts, Penal Power?
Yeah, so how about them Jesuits, the Jesuit order, that Society of Jesus there? Your thoughts, sir, on them great group of guys there, guys and gals?
You're talking about Catholic people?
Well, specifically, yeah, the Society of Jesus. You know, the people that literally call themselves the Society of Jesus. Your thoughts, sir, please?
Well, I can't say that I'm familiar with them, with their politics, or what they do. I mean, I know what the Catholic Church is.
That answers so much. Thank you.
You know,
They're
I
how
keep
old
up with
again?
all the different sects of Christianity. There seems to be a lot of them.
You're not going to turn the light on and let us see you, are you? Because you're so ashamed of your beingness.
Dude, you can see me fine, man. It's not.
No, I can't. I can
not
see a
pretty. I just
silhouette of
moved
you,
into
but we
this
can't see
apartment.
you. You're so fearful and lacking in faith, and you're so ashamed. You won't even show us your likeness.
Well,
This is what you do at court.
That's fine. Listen, it's
You
just
do a
giving
Zoom
you
slave
this.
court when you're on lockdown. They go, "Come on, camera, sir. We're going to address your case." And you just sit there with Indiana Jones hat in the dark, with a fan going.
Yeah. So, I'm not a
Beyond
presentable
embarrassing.
person, Paul. I'm not a convincing person, Paul. You know,
I know
keep
you're
telling
not a
you
presentable
have
person. You're not an
leadership
entertaining
qualities,
person. You're
Paul.
not interesting. You're not informed. You're not communicative. You're not anything that it would take to be on a broadcast.
How
So
am I not
why?
any of those
Again,
things
I'll ask.
when you're sitting
So
there?
I'll ask
you're shifting
again.
your
I'm
narrative.
asking nicely. They'll say I'm a madman and an angry man and bitter and all the rest of it, and I'm in my ego and pride. I'll ask you again. What do I benefit from having you here? What does the audience benefit from? And Will I Am, you're another punk ass bitch too. It's good to see all the punk ass bitches filing in and out. Because you're another person who, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I've been jumping out the window a lot lately. It's that season. Once the sun starts coming out, I get a little restless. You know, it's going to be a hot summer. So is it or is it not true that you go around talking a whole bunch of shut the fuck up? You're an asshole. I didn't ask you to speak. Will I Am, is it or is it not true you go around talking a whole bunch of shit and then when you're here, you don't have the same shit to say? Isn't that true? Or am I off on that? Because there's a lot of names to deal with, right? I want to make sure I know my audience. I want audience engagement and I want my audience to feel like I know them and care about them. You were saying loser failure in the dark hovel? Back to you. Looping.
You know,
right, we're looping. So why are you here again today? All the folks who have something negative to say every day are here every day. It's fascinating. It's like they have nothing else to do. But we're looping. Thoughts on any of that? Loser failure in the dark hovel?
Yeah, sure. So your shift to the agencies that are in question has nothing to do with anything that I was ragging on you about at all.
Don't know what you're
whatsoever.
talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. You can't even speak in a way that can be comprehended or interpreted. You're not even speaking full sentences. There's no subject and predicate. You don't even know how to construct a full sentence and make your experience known. It's the fourth thing you've said to me, and I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about yet.
All right, how
We'll
about
get there.
All right, how about the fact that Timmy came up here yesterday and gave you solutions supposedly about what you're supposed
Why
to
are
do
we
in
on
the system?
yesterday's broadcast when we're here now? Why are you fixating and constantly living in the past? Is it because
I'm
your
just
future
doing a
is so
comparison.
uncertain and powerless? Is that why?
No, I
You
just
have
don't
such
see
an
how he
uncertain,
gets
powerless
respect and I
future you
don't.
got to live on yesterday's broadcast that I've almost completely moved on with and forgotten, and you're still living in, even though I did it?
I'm just wondering why he gets respect for the same dumb shit that he didn't put forth.
Because okay, I'll help you out. It's the antithesis of the list I gave you that you admitted to half of today. Timmy is intelligent. Timmy is well-spoken. He's entertaining. He knows how to go with the flow. He knows how to yield at certain points. He knows how to pipe up. He knows how to take charge. There's many things Timmy's good at that he does that you are not and don't. So
but
do
he
you
said
want to
yes,
look
but.
at that and accept? No, you're going to, but. You didn't even want to listen to what the fuck I just said. You asked me a question, didn't listen to the answer, only to presuppose and impose your own answer. Because you're a tard. You're an arrogant, ignorant tard. And you're not actually interested in figuring out why you're a tard. You're just looking to like defend your tardly position. I'm not interested in it. Don't care. You asked me a question that might have bettered your life if you would have listened. You then ignored the answer to defend your tardly position. By virtue of that, proving you're a tard and that you're not going to make any progress, either in broadcasting or in life. So if you ask a question, either be genuine and don't ask the question, or take the genuine answer and process it and observe what's being said and try to see how much of that is true for you or not. Timmy's a successful man. He does life coaching, apparently, like Jack Talcott wants to do, right? He's got a community, apparently. He has a family. When he comes on camera, he's not in a dark fucking hovel, afraid to show his face. You get me? Or do you want another list of dozen things why I think you're a clown and I treat him with respect?
How about you trying to run around here talking about you got the authority of God and you can't even acknowledge Jesus Christ? You think you have authority in God and you can't even acknowledge or give glory to Jesus Christ?
We're back to your fixation and obsession. Instead of you listening to all of what I just said, you're going to now latch on to your fucking hopium, your religion. That's your drug. You're fucking religious loser.
Your whole base foundation is based on you're a citizen.
You fucking religious losers. Fuck you. Fuck your bullshit religion. Fuck the Pope. I'll knock the fucking Pope out unconscious in the cage fight, which he never answered my challenge. You get knocked the fuck out, boy.
So seriously, how are you going to sit around,
Did
around,
you get all that?
talking about the authority of God, talking about your rights as God given?
You got like 2 or 3 more of these loops before you're out of here.
Well, what am I supposed to say in it then? You want me to comment on what you're
right,
saying?
Because you can't even have a conversation to put forth any new information or any information that's valuable. You're just going to loop on Jesus now because you're a Jesus tard. You don't care about the history of the story of Jesus. You don't care about how it relates to the rest of us. You're in a fucking cult with your dogma, and you're going to keep latching on because that's the only hope you have is your blind faith. Not true faith, blind faith. That's your copium. Very interesting because the folks who are the biggest losers pretend to believe in God the most because they have no faith in themselves and what they're creating in life. They don't do anything. You and Jack Talcott and the rest of the religiotards don't do anything and don't create anything and have no fucking network and no community. That's why you cling to your false God so readily, because you're a loser failure in yourself and in life. It's one thing to have faith in God. It's one thing to have a revelation, walking with that thing that's above and beyond you. It's another thing to latch on to a worldly conception of what God is given to you by your fucking masters who you're serving indirectly. You're a dupe tard. The faster you get that, the faster you can get back to a real connection with the Holy Spirit that doesn't require a middleman.
It's impossible to have a relationship.
You're
with the
saying
Holy
it's
Spirit without Jesus
impossible, but
Christ.
I don't agree. So
It
fuck
is
you.
impossible. It's not spiritually possible, Paul.
Again, this is why you religiotards get knocked out on the New York subway every day. Because you come on there at 4 a.m, you holler at everyone, and then you force interactions with people, and you say, it's impossible for you to be good and know God without Jesus. And they just knock you the fuck out because they're tired of your crap. You're arrogant, you're ignorant, you're presumptuous and assumptuous. You don't listen to information when it's presented to you, and you project and reject. You're insufferable, okay? No one asked you for religious instruction. No one believes you have a connection to the Creator God. You have no results to show. I think God favors me more than you for some reason. That's what I'm looking at and seeing. You want to call it ego and pride? Well, on some level, if I don't, you could argue, I was going to say, if I don't drop over dead like Wildheart today on this broadcast, then that's proof of it. It might, if I do drop over dead right now on this broadcast, it might be proof of what I just said. God favors me so much, he's relieving me of your insufferable personality and the rest of you on here. So I could kind of go either way with that. While I'm here, God is favoring me. If I drop over dead today and I'm relieved of this, God's still favoring me. But when I look at you and the way you speak and the way you present and the countenance of you and just everything surrounding you, including that dark hovel, I start to think potentially that for some reason, maybe God favors me more than you. I don't know why. I don't even need that to be the case. I'm not really asking questions about it. I'm just telling you what I'm perceiving. I think you're a lost, broken, confused individual. And if anything's working with you, it's the shaitan, the deceiver, the devil archetype in consciousness. Serving your masters, voting for Donald Trump, paying the slave tax, telling me code is law, telling me to just grift off my audience and not do what I say because I might go to jail. You're a Jezebel, harlot, punk coward, and you got the spirit of your corrupt mama. I'd bet anything on it. You're just like your mama. I'd bet anything on it.
You don't know anything.
There it is, a little giggle, just like your mama would. Even when I just said that, you just giggled back to me like a broken demonic bitch.
Psychological weapon word terms.
It's incredible, man. It's incredible. It's like 1 for 1 every day with these clowns.
They actually expose the relationship.
1 for 1 every day with these clowns. These beta male, effeminate, mama spirit devoured cowards with the little demonic giggle, Jezebel harlot. It's incredible, man. Are you done? Because I think I'm done with you. The chat is done with you. Could you start taking more of a role in this broadcast? I'm here for you, ultimately. If I'm not here for me, I'm here for you. And it's kind of a back and forth process. Take a more active role. If I'm up here bullshitting with these fucking morons and you're done with it, say, we're fucking done. Get this loser out of here. And I'm just going to start adhering to that, right? Because I'd rather defer to and adhere to this audience than you and the rest of the tards who have to be seen and heard up here, right? And on some level, the audience makes me or breaks me in what I do here. You know,
I understand that.
Right. So, could you come up with something interesting, entertaining, informative, or just get the fuck out? Because I think I'm done. I don't see the benefit.
We're done. You know, we're done. I said what I had to say. So
great stuff. Can't get to God without Jesus. We never heard that before, and we definitely didn't hear it from you before. And that's it. That's the message of the day.
What I said specifically was you can't have a relationship or the authority of God in the Holy Spirit without Jesus.
I'm not
Christ.
interested in authority. You're projecting onto me that I want power and authority in this world. The power and the authority is in the word of truth. I speak that and I surrender the rest. Stop presuming. Stop projecting. That's you.
No, that's you. Yeah, look in the mirror.
No, that's you. You have no power in yourself and in your life, so you need and cling to power through Jesus. That's not what this is supposed to be about. That's not what the Holy Spirit is about. It is the power. There's no clinging to it. There's no denying it. And there's no imposing a middleman onto it.
How do you have any relationship with the Holy Spirit at all without Jesus Christ, Paul?
I'm not interested in what you think I'm having or not having. Go talk to all the people who've been involved in my life and ask them their testimony of me. Why are you asking me?
Because
as if I'm going to tell you how godly and righteous or not I am. It's a ridiculous framing. Okay. And I'm not going to engage in it. If you think that I'm going to promote myself or act like I'm so holy and godly and righteous, that I have some connection to whatever. I'm telling you what it seems to be based on what my firsthand experience is and what the report back is in the experience, as objective as I can be. And I'm not contending I have anything no one else has. So I'm not too sure what your problem is or what your point is. Because as far as I'm concerned, we're all born, we're all children of the Most High. We all have a Holy Spirit gateway in us, and we're all able to tap into a higher state of consciousness and awareness that is more beneficial to self and others, in truth.
All right.
I don't know what, like, where in that equation do you superimpose Jeebus Christ and your non-understanding of it? It's beyond embarrassing, and it's a waste of our time, energy, and attention. That man was a teacher if he existed. He was here to show us who and what to be, and quite frankly, who and what not to be, because a lot of his presentment was hypocritical. Such is life and the human condition, it would seem.
Well, maybe, but I tell you what, why would God forsake Jesus Christ just for you?
Oh, this is interesting. So now you guys are going to take pictures of a woman I was with and then double down and lie. If you won't tell anyone, I will. Paul beats women and can't have kids because he is not a masculine male being. You just lied. I've never attempted to have children, and I've never beaten a woman. So great stuff. You took a picture of me and a woman who that woman has come on this broadcast without me even knowing one day. I was completely uncomfortable with it. She didn't share that I ever beat her and that I can't have children. So why would you take her picture and share a lie and demean yourself? Because you have no name and face on here, and your reputation doesn't mean anything to you because no one knows you think. And you don't believe in God, so you don't think there's any karma for coming on here and telling an outright fucking lie. Great stuff. And you only have the power to speak here that I give you. So I literally timed you out. You came back instead of me banning you, and you're going to double down on your bullshit like it's going to have any influence or effect here. Are you kidding? I can't have children. If that's true, you know something I don't, and that woman doesn't. All right? So let me in on it where you got that information, because I've never tried, and I've never been given information that I can't. Although if it was true, it wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't necessarily surprise me. But no, I have no knowledge of that. And I've never beaten a woman. So you're fucking lying. You're a pathetic, cowardly, slanderous scum. Bad faith, dishonorable scum. Like the majority of folks who sit on the YouTubes and don't give a fuck about their life and their future, their country, their land, God, the truth, and what's right. Just say anything. Say anything with no accountability and no firsthand face-to-face interaction. Great fucking stuff. You are the problem with the world from the beginning of time. Another link, you can come on up, and now I'm going to ban you because I don't appreciate libelous, slanderous scum who are too cowardly to have a conversation about all their lies that they're telling. So I think I'm done with you. But I appreciate you. I appreciate you showing how many folks sit around with nothing to do. Well, that's true. Paul beats his meat. I've never denied that. Why would you be uncomfortable with her being on panel with her? Well, I'll entertain this more. I said I was going to ban you, but I'll give you the answers you need because you just proved you're lying. Right? I'd be uncomfortable being on panel with her because we split up under less than desirable circumstances. Okay? So, you know, we've spoken since then, but she was pretty much the first woman that I'd been with on all levels. So there was a lot of emotion around that, right? Because she pretty much left and didn't come back, and she was lying and cheating during the relationship, wound up getting pregnant multiple times. So it was a lot for me to deal with and handle, right? We both had drug, alcohol history. There was a lot of positives that came out of that relationship, the way I see it, right? She was a person put into my life to get me out of where I was, in a way, right? Get me to a new place to start over. And then she left and left me on my own, which I needed. And that forced me to create a life, learning how to live one day at a time and doing what I needed to do to make a living, to pay my bills, to be centered and balanced and grounded, and to create my passions, right? To move into my passions and to create my dream, so to speak, my livelihood. So everything happened as it was supposed to happen, but it doesn't change the fact that there's a bit of emotion there. And there was a bunch of kind of turmoil around that relationship. But no, I never beat her. Okay. So I would love for her and you, if you know her, to come up here again and tell the world how I beat her. I'd love to hear that. Because that never happened. I've never beaten a woman. Why would I? Makes no sense. Pretty fucking sad and pathetic, though, that, you know, I would have disappointment and kind of a sentiment and emotion still even today around that relationship, wishing it would have gone better while also knowing it needed to go the way that it did so I could be here today the way that I am, doing what I'm doing. You know, it's just part of life, it seems. So, yeah, if anything, it's more of a I wish things would have went different, but I have to reconcile that most things in my life go the way, seemingly, when I look back, they're meant to, for everything to be what it is now. Right. So just based on her presentment to me and her continued communication with me, I don't think that she has any anger, bitterness, or resentment beyond what may be kind of normal for what went on. Right. I think that she's a bit apologetic in a sense. I think that she also wishes that maybe it went a different way. I think she's also proud of me in a sense, because she's told me that I finally, you know, got my shit together, you know, have somewhere to be every day, you know, am able to make a living doing what I'm good at. She always kind of told me, along with other people, that I was funny and a good speaker and that I had information and wisdom, you know. So yeah, why you would impose onto that relationship and that dynamic, which already had enough turmoil and disconnection and division, a false dynamic of me beating her and not being able to have children, is pretty fucking sad and pathetic. Right? Like, if you just want me to do the hit on me, I'll do it in front of everybody. You don't have to lie and put extra shit on the fucking table. I'll just tell you exactly how it is, how it was, what happened, and where we've gone from there. I don't need to sit up here and lie. I don't need to deviate from what is. Your thoughts on any of that, Penile Power? I'm beating women now and unable to conceive.
Yeah, well, you're very uncivilized. So, I mean, that's just bound to happen, right? But yeah, I'm curious to know what the freak's thoughts are.
Oh no, it's time. It just appeared.
You're right. It's 4:20. Thank you. Let me hit this poll. Appreciate it.
No. That's not what I'm talking about. That's you and your wacky weed obsessions, numbers, and all the rest of it. I'm talking about my creature. My creature has just appeared through the wilderness, through the brush.
I just want to say that I've never personally attacked you or insulted you or anything in that manner. I thought you had a bad idea. That's all.
Dude, this isn't about you. It's not about you.
I'm just saying.
I have no personal feelings toward you. I'm not yoked with you. I have no emotional investment in you.
Yeah,
so I don't know what makes you think that I have a personal feeling about you. I simply said, you're not a good broadcaster. You're not a good conversationalist. You're delusional as far as I can perceive. And you're pretty pathetic when it comes to an inspiring presentment or entertaining presentment. So
yeah, but
why you're going to continue this loop and make me be the bad guy? I'm the madman. I'm Paul Unslave, the madman. Don't you see that here today? I've embodied that completely. I'm not interested in what you believe about my perspective. It's my broadcast. It's my perspective. You can claim it's false, but you'll have no facts to support your position. And you're going to keep me in a parasitic, vampiric loop to get your obsession and fixation satiated. Because I'm your daddy. You come here every day and do this. I just said I'm done with it. Why are you forcing it again and continuing? I'm trying to move on with my broadcast. Can you get that?
Yeah, well,
obsessive, fixated, needy, codependent, broken, childlike person in a dark hovel pretending to be Indiana Jones with a big hat. Do you get that? It's not about
see whatever you want, but
if it was about you, nobody would be here right now. If it was about you, no one would be here right now.
I understand that.
That's why you haven't started your own podcast yet. That's why if you did, it would look like Slow States and Illuma Slaveries. Can't get over 50 live viewers, and half of those are people watching you fail.
Dude, you're the one looping yourself. You're the one bringing.
Dude, I'm asking to move on. Are you going to shut up and occupy space here, or are you going to shut up and get out? There's really no other option as far as I can see. If the chat can come up with one, maybe they want to like poke you and prod you and hang you upside down like Gaddafi off that bridge. I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm not your daddy here. I don't owe you anything. You have no entitlement to be here. And when you're boring us or looping and cycling, I'm going to have to remove you. I have another looping cycler in back who's waiting to get in. And I have a theme song that I'm waiting to play for him. And you didn't listen or hear or see any of that. It's all about you. You're not the loser of the hour. I gave you your 10, 15 minutes. I'm moving on to my next loser. And I'm saying that
All right.
euphemistically. Term of endearment.
You know,
Thank you.
you say
Appreciate
you
you.
care about truth, so
I don't need your passive aggressive kind of last words either, like your mama bitch. Right? That bitch of a mama of yours who didn't raise you. I don't need your passive aggressive last fucking word. Guy needs a daddy.
Breaking news! Let's fix this problem right away. You fucktard surrounding Mr. Paul and Slave, while another fucktard who still makes actions happen. Notice how Brian cupcaked to Paul last night. Very interesting to hear. But again,
say hello to Equisnap Snaffus or Snafu Zebra. When not resting and feeding, Snafu Zebra spends most of its time investigating the Saharan grasslands for signs of its predatorial enemy, the privately owned, government-operated social media influencer, or in layman's terms, the common Saharan pogo. Although a habitual loner, Snafu Zebra is not typically found more than 5 kilometers outside the radius of its fellow crew members' dazzle or herd. This zebra's crew is a vital part of its digital experience here on Earth. This creature would not survive.
Fuck Marfoogle! Fuck Oracle Technology! Fuck Mike Stratton and his optics! And fuck Brian from High Pogo No Impact Grifts too! You're a fucktard Pedo Pogo and Marfoogle and Mike Stratton supporter! You fucking Pedo! Strike Force, go! I bet you support veteran fraud charity funds too! Where are the Pedo Pogos? We know you have Pedo Pogos in this. We want your Pogos. You fucking I smell Pedo Pogos. This is a privately owned government-operated vehicle, and I demand your full compliance. Where are Pedo Pogo supporting fucktard? Give me your granny panties. What a Me Too weaponized Pogo fucktard. This is my spot, you cupcake and pedo bitch. Get out of my way, you Pogo cupcake. Get the fuck out of here, You're not asshole. Part of this crew, you fraudster Pogo. Did Monograph send you? Tell us who Pedo Monograph send a spy to infiltrate the crew? He's definitely a Pogo in disguise. Snap food crew, get ready to get strike by the crew, yo. Strike Force, boys. It's the truth, yo. Your ass is about to get tactically striked, you fucking pedo pogo supporting cupcake fraudster.
You were saying?
The optics are high. Look in your backstage. Now we're hitting, the pogos are lit. The zebras are hitting Washington, apparently. That's because these pogos are sending messages out. After I had my conversation with Brian, and now he contacted you.
Right.
Look at what we found on the webs of web with subliminal messages to the pogos out there.
Well, listen, I mean, indirectly, you got a conversation with us, and that's part of what I was looking for. So you reignited the flame, you reignited the conversation. Now we're back in the building.
I know what I was doing.
Back in the conversation.
I knew what I was doing.
That's
See, what's
got
sad
it,
is
man.
none of these pathetic fucktards here, the two sitting next to you, or most of the chat,
Most of your Unslavia fucktards, they could have done what old Snafu did, but they tend to just sit back on their thumbs and spin around and spin. They don't put
Spinning. I'm spinning.
spinning. All you fucktards, why didn't you do this? Now I know you said Snafu, you did. No, I'm trying to prove a point. Warhog Creature does a lot of shit, makes shit happen.
I know, but
How
you
come
don't have to prove
fucktards
that.
out
We
there
know
don't?
that. We know that at this
I know,
point. There was a time when Snafu Snaps, much like Jack Talcott, was spinning and cycling in bitterness, angry, resentment. But now it's a dawn of a new day, right? You're on the ground, you're active, you're calling out these pogos to their faces, you're generating conversations for daddy.
Look what I put in your backstage, dude. They're sending subliminal
Oh, you
messages.
stay out of there. What did I tell you about being in there? I didn't even know you were in there.
Well, I went through the back door, you know. The freak knows about back doors and shit. I see him over there sniffing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
What is this, Snafu? Now you're gonna start doing this. As soon as things start going good. Yeah, you might have to. What's this? You got some guy up here now with a hat on, looks like David Rodriguez. Why are you exposing me to this?
Do you see the zebras taking over Washington messaging from another Pogo channel after we talked to Mr. Impact?
Yeah, I want to make
Mike
it bad.
Strutton. I'm curious. What did Brian have to say about me? Because he denies he knows me. We've talked many times.
And welcome to the Grand Speed News channel. All right, guys. So we have some urgent
There's no way.
information coming out. If you
Oh
can,
my God.
please
I'm
share
not
this.
doing this. You're taking me deep into the synchronistic / schizophrenic hole. Where now you got a guy reporting news that there's zebras running around in Washington. What are you a part of? Like, what are you a part of? Seriously, like I'm starting to think you're some kind of low level.
I started from, like I said,
Incredible.
you go to my new trial. I started from the beginning. I'm part of the Truthio, which is everyone. Everyone has a Truthio.
What world am I living in? This really is a holographic simulation. I realize it more each time.
I'm telling you.
No,
it's
get him
deep.
out, freak. You're done. You're not chatting in there. Why? You're up here right now and you're in the chat testing. Don't test because you're not going to chat. I'm not going to allow it to happen. Do you hear me? There's no point in testing. I'm going to stop you from chatting.
Don't have his kids.
Talking about
Look
me,
at
so
his loser, fucking sitting in the dark like a loser, failure.
That's you.
Yeah, it could be sometimes.
Well, yeah, that was you back in the spinning days when you made that song. But now you're in the conversation. You're relevant. Brian, High Impact, the whole thing.
Hey, can I borrow your fucking little Indiana Jones Undertaker hat, the freak?
and you're on some Smith bullshit with that zebra and the optics on that.
How
whatever.
come you cupcake with pedophiles?
It's like Jesus love or something. Smith zebra.
We're not doing this. No, we're not doing it.
Well,
not happening.
I'm just saying the freak hangs out
Don't
with
do
the
it.
pedos.
Please don't do it.
Okay,
Don't do
I
it.
won't. Hey, what did Brian have to say about old Snafu, Paul?
Well, I don't know if you heard me talking before about how the conversation went, but I kind of brought it up to him. I said, listen, in the interest of kind of being real about it, I go, that Snafu character isn't necessarily the most articulate being, but he has a certain spirit about him, right? So that led me back to kind of explaining to Brian that we need to speak more about the spirit of the law and how it comes down through the chain of title into the legislation and all the rest of it, right? This is where the power or the understanding seems to be gained and lost, is the spirit of the law. It's not about the codifications and the double speak, and all the rest of this overcomplication. So it's about the truth at the end of the day, right? Just like I said to him, bro, you're going to have to, I told him, I said, I'm going to get on there with you because it's beneficial to me and for the audience, because at the end of the day, we're here for the truth, supposedly. But that means that when I go over there again, that I'm going to have to ask him about the masks, and I'm going to have to ask him about why he and DeCastro and the rest are not correcting their status and the record and still adhering to statute, policy, and code.
Shot at you without you knowing? Did you know that already? He did a video on one of his channels, which we caught about an hour ago this morning, about Sov Sits and how they're fucking, and he was kind of implying, you're
I'm not accepting that. I'm not accepting that because he's very cordial to me privately. He's very
That's what I'm
cordial to
saying. I
me.
was surprised. Well, I wasn't surprised this morning when I saw his video talking about soft sit and kind of shit that, you know, imply. I go, oh, that's his comeback. And see, I heard what you said. So I should send you this video because he did just do a video kind of implying about the content you do, you know, with this soft sit. You know, he's done it before. So it's interesting. The optics.
Now,
here,
what is this video specifically you're speaking about here?
It was this morning. Let me go pull it up. The crew pulled it up. Don't think we're not watching you, Brian. You
4 hours ago?
It was this morning. Yeah, he did a whole soft sit video, you know, and how they kind of shit on it, but don't shit on it. But like, you know, and I just thought it was very interesting.
All right, don't explain it to me. Don't editorialize. Just give me the name of the damn clip.
Let me go look for it.
What's the point of you giving me your interpretation of what happened instead of just telling me the name so I can look at it?
Okay.
That makes sense to you, right? You're giving me a breakdown before we're looking at it. Like, break it down during or after, or we're not at all.
We already know what he's doing. But
okay, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna long game it like I have been, and then again, if we meet at a certain point again and have to have these discussions, then that will happen. But I'm not going to presume that he's now taking subliminal shots at me through a video about soft sits, because the reality of it is he knows, like I know, I'm sure, that the sovereign citizens are at this point the folks like DeCastro and others who want to vote, pay tax, claim to be a citizen, and also have natural rights. The folks who are the sovereign citizens are the agents and the cops who are claiming to put on a costume and be of service to the people, but also have no accountability, seemingly. So I and others like me who uphold the true law and the rights of creation as natural men and women, we're far from sovereign citizens. You could argue the only true sovereign is God. You know, we're just here as messengers or experiencers or testifiers of that and whatever the facts of each situation are. But ultimately, I don't even claim to be completely sovereign. I can't necessarily make law or unmake law. I can communicate that law and interpret that law, and I can use affidavit to put it on record, but I'm not the creator of law, and I'm not unbound in my ability, right? So again, there's different interpretations of even the idea of sovereign. But if a man is sovereign, it's only through God and faith that reveals the truth beyond the worldly cultures and societies. Do you have the name of the video?
I know we have before, but at some point, could we, if you feel comfortable, if you're willing to get into some of these affidavits you've filled out before or that you would say are worth looking into?
Can I address something?
Did you see my thumbnail on my newest video? I sent you the picture of the chair.
You guys are all over the place. You just threw 4 things at me, man. Can we stay on one fucking thread here?
Yeah, you seen the gorilla chair, right?
It was just a yes or no question, but it's all good.
Oh my God. It's like literally this broadcast has become being in the mind of a schizophrenic. There's 4 voices at once, 4 different ideas, and then there's a main voice and energy kind of trying to break through and direct.
Except
so
these
bizarre.
2 cards on panel really aren't bringing shit. They usually don't.
Okay, right. So, I'm throwing them out. Now because you're somehow right. And I don't know what you're bringing for now. I'm putting them in the back for now. Could you please tell me what the fuck you're talking about so we can move on here? I'm already over it. I don't even know what it is. And I'm over it.
I put the link. Oh, there you go.
Telling cops what you really think about him. It's an hour and 15 minutes. I'm not doing what you did, even though this is about me. Supposedly, I'm not. No, I'm not sifting through. Give me the timestamp. I'm not sifting through an hour and.
It's the very beginning.
You're really, okay.
I'm just telling you the messaging. He's shooting back across the bow ball. These are pogos.
Channel. What is the deal? The deal is, hopefully.
And this was right after you talked to him.
The goal is to be a better person tomorrow than you were today, and then you're going to make your life better. You're going to make the world better. So hopefully that is the deal in your life, because really, what else matters? Nothing else matters. You shouldn't care what other people think about you. You shouldn't care if other people are successful or failing.
This is damage control.
Looking or strong or weak or anything like that. What you should care about is who you are and who you've become as a person and who you affect in a positive or a negative way in your life. And hopefully you're here to affect people positively. And one of the positive things that we can do is call out negativity. I will positively call out negativity. Now, before we get to this video right here, I want to talk about something that came across my desk.
Interesting that he pulls this up.
This right here is Sheriff Grady Judd from the Polk County Sheriff's Department.
And I'm not doing this snafu. I'm not doing this snafu because, again, this is where I then say, let's breathe, take a step back. I think you're overshooting here because that story came up on my list in the. Please let me finish. That story came up on my end in the news, and I was talking about it, and I wound up not choosing it. So everyone's getting the same information all at once. To presume that he's making an indirect shot at me, talking about sovereign citizen, which is now today's news. I'm not doing this deep of an interpretation.
He added to the beginning of the video.
No, I'm leaving it. We're moving on. I'm going to Eric Mays, Councilman, best of. Folks love Eric Mays, Councilman. Folks love Eric Mays, Councilman. The last time we watched it here, I got a kick out of it. I'm going to that because that was in the stack. Best of Eric Mays, RIP Eric Mays. I'm done. I had a great conversation with Brian last night. I told him directly, despite whether we're on good terms or not, like each other and all the rest of it, and we're cuddly, hug-a-buddy, all the rest of the shit you like to talk about, there's still going to be accountability to the facts, and there's going to be questions at times about who and what we are, what we're doing and not doing. We need that. So that's it. As diplomatic, equitable, honorable, good faith men, I'm leaving it there till we find out more and see more. That's it. I'm not doing indirect right now.
Have you invited him to come to your show? Because I want to ask him a question. I want to know if you really, since you had a personal conversation with him, and I could talk to him with Daddy on Daddy's show. I'm curious if he claims that he thinks that Castrol is not doing good, blah, blah. Then why is he pushing up the GoFundMe's? The four of them.
You're destroying this kid's name more and more as days go on. First it was DeCastrio, now it's Castreo. As days go on, the name is getting more and more conjugated. It's getting more and more
just pulling a wizard word number here. Just trying to be like
what's
wizard,
with you in the names where as days go on, you just start fucking the name up more and more and more.
Well, I think, Brian, I would love to have a conversation. I'm sure others would too, in an authentic, genuine.
Yeah. I didn't offer him to come over here. He's open to come over here. He invited me over there, and that's probably better off for everybody. He's got the audience. I can restream here. So if anything, it'll be
him coming to you. Why don't you say, hey, bro, put him on check?
I'm not interested in playing power games. Ultimately, I'd rather.
He's pushing up GoFundMe frauds. Why wouldn't you?
Again, I'm not interested in playing
an authentic conversation between you and me.
I'm not interested in playing power games. If at some point I go over there and speak with him and speak more privately, I'll offer him to come over here and see what he says. I'd rather go over there anyway. I can restream over here and be over there with an expounded audience. It doesn't make sense to limit the conversation to over here and not on his channel. Does it make sense to?
I get it.
Makes more sense to have it over there, and then you can filter your questions through me, and I can refer to the chat. It gives me then, not that I need it, a level of insulation.
I get that you had your personal conversation, but again, the man kept looking down at the screen. He knows what the crew knows.
I got it all already. He told me as a man that he likes me and respects me. He has no issues with me. He believes I'm further along in this journey. And if anything, he'd like to learn from or with me. So we'll see where that goes. I've heard it before. I've seen it all before. I know the games people play. We're going to leave it at that. And we're going to see where it goes.
And then
all will be revealed.
He
right?
uses a
the truth always comes to light
to go against soft agendas in play, which is media relation optics tactical use to spread the media relations narrative. So again, we also know why they're pushing certain. So I know you say, "Oh, we had a story," but see, in his story, he's actually presenting soft sit as bad. Hence, terrorist links. Since you know what I'm talking about, okay.
Sure.
Okay,
all right, I'll continue listening to it because you're really pushing this and hyping.
I don't trust the guy. Just
I already know what he's about.
Law enforcement agent who says he's there to protect and serve, because they lie. They engage in deceptive practices. And I want to show you one of the deceptive practices that I believe they're engaging in before we get to our feature video about how this guy right here talked to this cop, and probably deservedly so. So it says, Sav Sit.
Notice the pause. Sav Sit.
Sav Sit. That's an oxymoron. Kind of like only option, or Dodge Ram, or Act Natural, airline food, original copy, military intelligence.
Look how big his eyes are when he's talking about that.
Again, you're pissing me off now, because you're fucking talking over him and you're not calling the shot accurately. So either you're like that disturbed or you're trying to fuck me over. I can never tell who or what you have loyalty to completely. He's literally saying sovereign citizen is a bullshit term. Am I missing something here? Is that not what?
Kind of like Marfugo claims that he's just a co-host. Is Mike Strutton?
I don't know what this dude. You need to take your meds today. You're off it. You're off it. You're off it. You're going way too deep, and you're trying to undo what has already been laid the groundwork for. And I'm not going to let it happen.
He's never undid with the crew. He's a pogo fuck, and he knows he is.
You're going too hard and too fast. You're going too hard and too fast. You're pumping too hard and too fast. You're blowing your load.
Well, no, I yield.
Please
I'll
take his. Oh my God!
Again, I know what his game is. I know where
he's
stands.
literally saying sovereign citizen is a false claim terminology. If he's doing the opposite, it would seem. I'll continue it. Please don't talk over it.
No, you do what you want to do
here.
Please don't talk over it.
Or you're a citizen. A citizen is a subject. If you're a sovereign, you're not a subject. You're the person who's subjecting other people to your rule. So I think it's crazy, and at the least disingenuous to use this kind of terminology, because it really throws.
Okay, so we're done right there. He's doing the opposite of what you just said. Great journalistic work there. You reported to me the opposite of what's happening. He's saying the word sovereign citizen is a false claim. They're using it to try to take power over the individual who's trying to uphold law and rights to their understanding. He's not doing a subliminal shot toward me and sovereign citizens, quote unquote, because I'm not one, and he's not talking about them. He's saying the characterization of folks as that is disingenuous and hypocritical. So we're going to move away
from fucking podcast.
No, not kind of like anything. You're not going to now attach another narrative onto a fault. Hey, dude, leave it alone. Let it lie. We're moving on.
All right, bring the fucktards back if you want. I'm done.
All right, fucktards engage. And we have Joshua. Greetings, Joshua.
Josh,
all right, let's move on here.
Josh,
please give me a break, dude. Every fucking day I gotta leave here borderline headache or full headache. Just shut the fuck up and let me move on.
This kid is under 18.
I don't give a fuck about what you're saying and want. I'm done with it. Shut up and let me move on.
Josh, what year were you born?
Goodbye. I'll see you later. You're going to play power games with me? I don't give a fuck if you had a conversation with me and Brian. One has nothing to do with the other. You do one thing that's good that leads to something, and then you turn around and do 2-3 bad things and try to shit all over it. It's fucking retarded. Retard, Bill. I'm moving on now, and I had to throw you out. I don't want to, but I had to. Because you won't shut the fuck up and stop trying to monopolize. I'm moving on. And you're indirectly trying to fuck me right now by pointing out that someone's supposedly below a certain age, so they can't be here, and I'm a bad guy. What are you doing? Oh, that's right. You can't answer me because I threw you the fuck out. Eric Mays, best of city councilman, RIP Eric Mays. We're going to it because I enjoyed it last time. And that's all that matters here. Quite frankly, the audience enjoyed it. We enjoy the same things.
I try my best to tell the truth. People don't like my style, how I talk, my delivery. But you ain't catching me in half-truths and lies. Not running no municipal government. Why when it gets to me, we wasting time? But all these folks who put the appeal ain't wasting time. That's my point. Quit singling me out as a time waster. Single some of these folks out for once in your life as time wasters. It ain't funny to me, Griggs. It ain't funny to me, Gary. I sit here quietly. And the minute I start talking, here go that old stereotype, time wasting stereotype. Who does that repeatedly? Who wants to live in a stereotype shell? Black's lazy. First what councilman wasting time. He's irrelevant. Don't y'all get it? We went through this with Kerry and Jackie Poplar and them putting a hand up in my face. I'm not going to, every time I speak, be belittled when I'm making points by this council. Don't y'all get it? The time wasted was with her when she appealed it. And I'm telling you, when she sees she losing, I want to withdraw it. You done wasted time. Tell her. Quit picking at me about the great waster of time. I'm here to do business.
Mr. Mays, you interrupted me. Stop talking. Just stop
No,
talking.
don't
Now
tell
we
me to
are.
stop talking.
Yes,
now
we
you're
are.
going overboard. Who the hell you think you talking to?
Councilwoman Gallo
Point of
talking
order.
to Mr. Mays.
Point of order.
What is your point of
You
order?
don't talk to me any way you want.
If you
Now,
don't
my
need to,
point was if you were done, it's time
I'm
to vote.
done.
Who the hell you think you talking to?
Councilwoman Galloway talking
You want
to
to
Mr.
show out? I'm going to
Mays.
show out with you. Y'all tell me to shut up. You shut up.
I didn't say
You better,
shut
well,
up.
whatever you said, it wasn't
What's
proper.
your point of order?
If you want to be out of line, I'm going to get out of line with you and Kate Fields. I ain't studying.
He's in violation.
You better talk to me like you
upset.
got some doggone sense.
Mr. Mays,
Yes, ma'am.
we're done.
You want to be respected, you better respect me when you talk. I ain't
you are
studying your
absolutely
petty
right.
rules. Well,
You are
thank
absolutely
Now
right.
get on track and talk to me like you got some sense when I say point of order, anything else.
I'm on.
Don't fuck.
You just said what to me?
I said don't fuck
Hold
with
on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Wait a minute, wait a minute.
Don't fuck with it.
We're gonna go east side on that ass.
You finna get out of here. I want him out of here.
Councilman Mays, you ain't supposed to be arguing with him. You're not supposed to be arguing with him.
Yeah, let that go ahead. Mr. Metcalf, Mr. Metcalf, Mr. Metcalf, let him stay, Mr. President.
No, not now, brother.
Well, then go.
I'm gonna
But
go.
you ain't gonna mess
I
with
just
me.
wanted to hear it.
Bye. You want to hear it again? You not
No, all
there.
right, Councilman, you're gonna be going with it.
Yeah.
Proceed.
You can hear it
They need you to
again.
perform right now.
Yeah, well, I will perform.
They need you to perform.
They're not gonna perform it.
This seems to be you'll notice a lot of the council meetings, or not a lot of them, but these ones in particular with this man here start to sound a lot like these panels. And I suspect the reason is because you finally, in some room somewhere, have an outspoken, fairly loud, masculine voice who's not willing to play games and do corrupt business with the rest of the folks in the room. So then he becomes a problem individual, right? That sounds like an interesting dynamic, familiar dynamic. So, you know, the majority of inauthentic corporate beta males and females want to sit around with their positions, make a whole bunch of money, and claim to be some authorities with some kind of knowledge and solutions. And when someone comes in who questions them and asks them how that's going to make anything better and then proposes their own solutions, he's a problem now, right? So that seems to be what we have going on here. You got a guy who has some common sense, who's willing to speak it, and a whole bunch of other folks who see him as an impediment to their corrupt business. Did you want to say something to Freak? I saw you unmuted.
Yeah, I mean, I think I could relate to what you're saying there. And what the councilman was saying there.
In what sense?
Well, you know, I'm not going to bring it back to me again. I'm just saying I can relate to what he was saying.
In what sense?
Well, you know, I get disrespected or whatever for bringing up an idea, challenging a little bit of maybe your idea wasn't so good.
No, you're not getting disrespected for bringing up an idea or challenging my ideas. You're getting disrespected for disrespecting the truth and yourself and promoting nonsense and acting like it's a solution. See, they're not the same thing. You are one of the folks in that room opposing Mr. Mays. You are the archetypal persona of the problem in the world. You are not Mr. Eric Mays in this simulation. You are the corrupt, infidel, false knowledge and understanding half-wit, essentially, who wants to continue to do corrupt business by voting for Donnie Trump. That's who you champion. We should vote for Donnie Trump and believe on Jesus. It's not going to get it done in our lives individually and collectively in the world. So you just made a false equivocation. You just tried to pad your insecure ego, and it's delusion. See?
Well, first of all, there's nobody
You're
else.
not a
in this
masculine,
segment that
outspoken,
you
loud voice who
challenge.
speaks common sense of truth. You're the opposing dynamic.
There's no one else in Enslavey that even challenged your idea. First of all, I did that.
I'm not interested
I
in
gave
challenging good
solutions.
ideas with ridiculous ideas. That's what ego and pride does. I'm open
Besides,
to it.
Do you know who EBT is? Enslaved by Truth, the dude, or that guy.
I don't know. How does this
Stop
relate
it,
now? Numbers are dropping. As soon as you start talking, numbers start dropping. Does that indicate anything for you?
Yeah, it does. So
right.
Anyway, I'm voting for
Does
Joe
to me as
Biden.
well. Right. What's that now?
I'm voting for Joe Biden.
Okay, great. Anything else?
Go ahead, please.
Let
this go on record.
I ain't studying.
No.
I try to be nice to him. We have a white person breaking the quorum on purpose. I'm going to talk black, white. I'm going to talk like Gleason was talking black. And Miss Galloway, you ain't going to let them mess up these meetings and then leave with their cronies. And I'm telling you, I done backed you, but it's going to stop when you let them mess up our meetings. And we got police here, and they making a shamble and pissing me off. You back me. You don't back them people interrupting this meeting. Get their asses out. I'm just telling you. All bets is off when you back the public. I'm not running for nothing. I'm not trying to be nothing. And I'm telling you, I ain't recalling nobody kissing butt like Woodson them is with Davis. I'm me. I'm telling you, they won't disrupt these meetings. Get them out quick. Set the tone for this new council. And East Village is making us look stupid. She in a clown suit. Each Village paper is all over everywhere. And that's why the votes was different. 700 white. The white and black make a difference. Yeah, you had it on in the East Village magazine. I read it. With the other candidate, because now you saying you don't want to approve 300,000 because it's close to an election. You want people to die off of what?
Why y'all talking about election in the city building?
You out of order, Mr.
No, y'all
Woodson.
not
You out of order,
You
Mr.
cannot talk
Woodson.
about
I
election
know
in
I
the
ain't
city
gonna let
building.
Woodson and Galloway team up on me to try to help Neely in no election. I'm gonna do it just like I did Dane Worley. I'm gonna do it just like I did Scott Kincaid. They can run, they can leave, and we can do whatever we want. But I'll be dunked on if that word slipped. I don't want to approve 300,000 for water because we in an election. I want people to die. We voted on the policy. I'm finding out council people don't even.
Right. Now, let's be clear. He's speaking up for folks who can't get clean water, apparently. Pretty sure this was Michigan. So you're surrounded by a whole bunch of other folks who'd rather just fill their pockets and the coffers and not address the problems and bring solutions. So oftentimes, I know folks don't like conflict and controversy, right? They don't like negativity. But oftentimes in these interactions, that's what's necessary. Folks have to stand up, they have to stand out, they have to call people out, and they have to hold them accountable to what needs to happen for themselves and for everyone based on some objective truth and fact, or true enough. So, yeah. It's not really about liking or not liking controversy or negativity. It's about understanding the role of someone like this who speaks like this to hold folks accountable who want to sit around, be nice, kind, polite, do business as usual, and fuck themselves and everyone else out of a future and a destiny. Okay, that's just the way that I see it. We need this. We need more outspoken, loud, masculine voices who are father figures like the founding fathers, to call out all the inauthentic corporate beta males and females to stop doing business as usual. It's not working, quite the opposite. We need a change, and it's going to start with self and the community and whatever collective you're a part of. All right, let me go over to San Joaquin, Brian also covered this video. This video's making the rounds. Haven't seen it or heard it yet. Apparently there's some cop who they're all saying is hot. You know how that works. We're doing the chimpanzee thing. Hot cop. Hot for cop. You know? But yeah, it's, you never heard anyone talk to cops like this. Are you muttering? Are you mumbling and muttering?
No.
Oh, okay. You've never heard anyone talk to cops like this. That's the title. So let's get to that, see where it goes. Maybe we'll get back to Mr. Eric Mays. Give me a 1 in chat if you want more of the best of Eric Mays, Flint City, Michigan City Council. And also let me know if I'm cutting in or out. It seems like I'm having internet issues. I'm hardwired in.
Hi. Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
Good.
Oof.
What's up?
What's up? I'm just wondering, can I have you remove your sunglasses so I know who I'm talking to?
I'm not going to. I don't even want to talk. I hate the police.
And by the way, this woman is obviously part of the simp trick division. So this is a good new tactic. You just send, like, you know, a woman up, little Jezebel harlot up, and she just kind of looks around and, you know, puts her arms folded on the thing and says, hey, I'm just wondering, like, how much information can I suck off of you? How much investigating can I do? And, you know, the majority of simp trick beta males out there just fucking love it. Like, oh, man, this cop's so hot, and she's talking to me like a regular person. Maybe she's into me. Like these Trump voting Jesus tards, like the man sitting on panel with us, they're so delusional. They're like the people who go to the strip joint and think that the stripper's into them. That's like the majority of citizen slaves. If they get pulled over by this division, the simp trick division, they just give it all up. You know, take me away, right? Arrest me. Hot for copper.
Can't wait for the nanny state.
Yeah.
Oh
man, we're just hanging out.
Like, if I took, and I don't have my trifold.
Give your rights up. Come on, guys.
I don't answer questions. It's a mockery of the police. I hate you fucking guys so much. Like, when I pray that you guys get over here, Rosie. I pray that you guys' car.
Why is that?
Because you guys if you guys are all evil and bad.
Well, why do you think that?
Well, if you weren't, if there was a good one, there would be no bad ones, and there's shit ton of bad ones. So yeah.
Well, I don't think I'm.
So what's up though? You're cute. I mean, I would bang you, but I would never fucking anything other than that.
What if we do it along the lines that, like, I'm gonna be respectful to you, okay?
Yeah, I'm not respectful to cops. It'd be best if you just stop
that's fine.
talking
If you
to
want to look at me as an officer,
yeah, I
fully
do.
understand
if you
that.
take off that costume, that clown costume, then I'll talk to you.
Well, if you took off your sunglasses, it'd probably be easier to speak
what's up
with
though?
you.
What do you want?
I was just seeing who you are. And
I don't want
everything
you
like
to know
that.
who I am. I'm incognito.
And you have that right. It's not a
I
big
know my
deal. Why are
rights.
you an incognito?
I want to pause really quick because I do remember when I went out to go record with this guy. One of the things that he did was he was kind of flirting with the deputy that was out here, and I can't lie, it seemed like she had the hots for him. It was unbelievable. I'm just kind of like, what am I, chopped liver or something? What this guy is super handsome. I don't, you know what I mean? This guy knows exactly what he's saying. He knows how to talk to cops. And like I said, you're absolutely gonna appreciate this one, and you're gonna appreciate this guy's channel, his work, nonetheless. So this guy is like the female cop whisperer. He knows how to talk to them and flirt with them, and yeah, he's freaking hilarious. Keep watching, guys.
It'd probably be easier to speak
what's up
with
though?
you.
What do you want?
I was just seeing who you are. And
I don't want
everything
you
like
to know
that.
who I am. I'm incognito.
And you have that right. It's not a
I
big
know my
deal. Why are
rights.
you an incognito?
Because I might have warrants. What if I have a bunch of warrants?
And you have warrants.
Yeah.
So what's the issue
what if
with
when
that?
you looked on the thing it said armed and dangerous? I don't want you to run my name.
Is that the case?
It might be.
Okay, and we can talk that out. It's not a big
No,
deal.
we're not talking shit out. I'm not saying nothing.
And that's fine.
All right.
It's fine.
Holler at you then. I don't know why he rolled down the window.
Or do you work in the area?
I'm not gonna answer any questions. Do you work in the area?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a deputy over here.
Oh, a deputy.
Yeah.
You mean a clown?
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this your coworker?
What? That's just some hitchhiker I picked up. Why? What's up?
Oh,
Does he have a
your
warrant or
vehicle?
something?
No.
Uh,
No. I'm
okay.
just.
Then why'd you pull him out?
Bruce and I just like to make conversation.
Bruce Almighty. See me, I'm just like,
Oh.
fuck you, you horrible bitch. I'm like that to cops.
Hmm.
And guy, girl, it doesn't matter. But you notice I was, yeah, she hates cops too. We both hate cops. Bad. Yeah.
Okay.
So why do you have him out of the car for speeding?
That's just how Bruce does it. He just gets them
Oh,
on.
fuck. Tell
That's,
Bruce I said fuck him.
You can tell him.
Fuck you, Bruce.
So like what I think is interesting is that like Brian and these other folks are probably gonna like cover this shit. And if they haven't already, and they're gonna go like, tee-hee, this is great that we all are like gonna like tell the cops what we really think and feel about them. I guess if this is about like getting off on the negativity that everyone hates so much till they don't. But I don't see the benefit in these venues, in these situations, to talk to the policy enforcement like this. It's not that maybe I don't want to at certain points. I just don't see the benefit to myself, to them, to the audience, to the future, where this goes. I don't, maybe I'm missing something here. Maybe the way out of this is to stand our ground in that way, tell them we don't like them and we hate them, and tell them we got rights and fuck off. I would think it'd be more honorable and respectable and presentable to say, well, I know my rights, nothing personal. You're doing your job as you believe you know how to do it. And I'm going to do my job as I believe I know how to do it, which is to uphold God's law and the rights of this land and the law of this land, and to not be in dishonor and bad faith. Nowhere in that interaction or that presentment of that experience does it come in, fuck the pigs, fuck police, I hate them. This is what I'm not getting. This is what makes Snafu say that they're pogo folks, because they say they don't like negativity. They're nice, kind, and polite, but then they like negativity toward men and women who are doing a job of policy enforcement. And again, that only exists because you folks gave all your rights away through contract when you mismanaged your affairs and the record, and you created all these contracts and agreements on paper. Sorry, don't do that next time. Nowhere in this dynamic does a solution require us to be dishonorable, bad faith representatives of supposedly godly people, saying people, fuck you, you're a pig, we hate you. I'm kind of confused. I thought godly, righteous folks are supposed to be caring and loving like you all folks claim you are, and supposed to be honorable in their presentment. They're not supposed to inject hate into this dynamic. Hate is not going to conquer hate or misunderstanding. Only truth / care and love is going to conquer this hate and this misunderstanding. As far as I can see it, as far as the Tao sees it, thousands of years before the Christed being. So, we could get into the whole sometimes there's a time to turn the tables over and whip on people, but in reality, is that really what you're going to do? Is that really what you're going to be? Because I contend most of you folks are not really about it. Even if you talk a big game. As soon as they get your ass in them cuffs and bring your ass to court, you're whining and crying and wishing you didn't go off. So there's no point in doing that anyway, because you're not really all about it anyway. You're not going to stand on that shit at court and then go to jail or be killed and say, yeah, fuck you, thug life. So if you ain't really about it and you ain't going to go long game with it, well, just put that prideful, egotistical shit aside. Just be a good man. Just be a good woman. Just speak the truth with humbleness before the Creator. Just surrender in faith. Stop living from hate. Stop living from division. Stop living from competition. The truth outcompetes these folks. You have no say in it other than delivering that truth, bearing witness and testimony, and putting the facts on the record. More that folks practice neutrality in these situations, in these venues, I think that they're going to find themselves in a better position. But maybe I'm missing something. There's been a handful of videos lately where guy tells a cop on the side of the road, listen, if you reach in here and try to take my rights, I'm going to pull a gun on you and I'm going to defend myself. And they left. I'm not going to advocate that folks handle these situations that way, because I don't handle them that way. And I could talk a whole bunch of shit on here and speak from an impassioned sense, but that would not be genuine. So again, I might be missing something. Maybe I'm the big pussy. I'm the big bitch. I just don't think long-term that's going to be the answer and solution. There may be a time for the sword. There may be a time to defend yourself. I don't necessarily think that the time is now. You're just going to wind up getting written up as some kind of a terrorist and the sob sit, mumbo jumbo, and all the rest of it. They're probably going to do that anyway, but there's no reason to make it easy for them. You should make it real hard for them to say you're a bad faith, dishonorable, hateful, incompetent man. You should make it real hard for them. They should be looking at you and saying, this man is so godly and righteous and virtuous, and he's so forgiving and faithful with us that we don't even know how to approach this situation. Because that's how they were dealing with me at one point. I had cops tell me that they quit their job just from interacting with me. Yeah, they arrested me. Yeah, they had to take me to court. Yeah, I never went back and presented, and I told them such. Or sent them communications, either electronically or through the mail. So I'm on record, right? You got one shot with me. You're going to arrest me. You're going to bring me in. We're going to see a magistrate over the next few days, and I'm going to let them know. This is who and what I am and what I'm not, and this is what I plan to do. And unless you bring in another man or woman in here that says I did loss, injury, harm, or owe a debt, we got nothing to talk about. So I'll see you when I see you. That's that. Not interested what you want to call it, arraignment, warrants, bench warrants, non-appearance, all the rest of the crap, not interested. You got one interaction with me. And that's just how it needs to go. Right? Anything else is illegitimate from the status and standing that I occupy, the capacity that I move in those venues. Nowhere in that interaction, by the way, of me getting arrested over and over again and having to present at a court basically in shackles or an orange suit, did it require me saying, fuck the bailiff, fuck pigs, I hate cops, or any of the rest of that petulant childlike crap. There must be a misunderstanding here. See how you approach it as a man, an equitable man? The maximum of law of equity is he who wishes to receive equity must come with equity. So I don't go to court and bring my bullshit and my complaints and my victimhood to an administrator that has no idea what the fucking situation is. He didn't arrest me on the side of the road. Some goofy cop did. So that's on him and his karma. By the time we get to court, there's nothing personal about it. Hey, how you doing, administrator, magistrate? There must be a big misunderstanding here, because if you knew who and what I was, you would obviously know that I don't belong here right now, especially this way. If anything, I belong here talking to these inmates to get them on another level, consciousness and awareness and faith. But I definitely, I'm sure you'll understand, not belong here in an orange suit and handcuffs. So let's just get into the record. Did you get the claim? It's on record. Here it is. Go ahead, pass it over if you didn't see it. If you saw it, is there any objections? Because from here on out, I'm not going to be able to speak. Because I have nothing to defend. I have nothing to argue about. Argue just means make the facts clear and presently known. That's in my claim. Right? So if we don't have another man or woman who's going to come forth, well, then I got to go. And that's probably why the last few times they go, well, there's warrants out and all the rest of this, but, you know, $1 bond, non-paid, no signature, and somehow I'm walking out. And I told them I won't be back. And they have a record showing I won't be back. So why they wouldn't keep me and hold me, and why they haven't come talk to me yet or try to reach out to me, I guess is anyone's best guess. Maybe they don't have what they need to move forward, and they know it and I know it. Maybe they prefer to just slave the rest of the sheep who are in war with themselves and therefore war with the courts and policy enforcement. It makes it so much easier to prove they're dishonorable and bad faith. It's kind of hard to do with me. Because, you know, I just let them keep arresting me for doing what's true and what's right. That's already been ruled on at Supreme Court to bind them to their obligations and duties that they're negligent in, derelict in. Regardless of them being negligent of their duties and derelict, I still allow them to arrest me. I walk to the magistrate, we explain the issues, and I walk out. I don't return. Must just be some big misunderstanding as far as I'm concerned. Must be some lack of training, right? Maybe there isn't a lack of training. Maybe there's just this belief going around nowadays that we live in a democracy or in a state of, a state of confusion, a state of chaos, a state of discontent and disenchantment and disenfranchisement and division from the creational force and the law of God. Oh, yeah, I could see that. I could see that all day, every day. Right? So, there seems to be two worlds here, right? Just like there's night and day, sun and moon, masculine, feminine, right brain, left brain, Republican, Democrat. There's overworld and underworld. There's public and private. You know, there's natural person, there's legal person. There's natural rights, and then there's legal privileges and benefits. Maybe
I think.
Go ahead, sir.
I think the police officer that we just saw is the example of the coming nanny state, and I didn't think it was a good idea for you to engage with the low-level policy enforcers a week ago, and I don't think it's a good idea now. So I'm glad we.
Did I ask you what you thought? I'm going to let you go. Did I ask you what you thought was a good idea for me that you repeated that I've already heard multiple times? Did I ask you that in the middle of my speaking to this audience? Did I ask you any of that? I brought it up. I'm speaking to this audience. What made you think that I was speaking to you and wanted your repetitious, predictable, weak-ass, cowardly, reactive non-response to what I'm saying? What gave you that idea still this far into this broadcast and interaction with me in general?
Well, because I see you more as the councilman.
Because you can't read yourself or me or the room or the experience, and you don't know what the next right thing to do next is anywhere in your life. Why would you attempt to do it here with me only to embarrass yourself over and over again? You must love the whipping, huh? You must love the abuse, just like most sadomasochistic slaves in this realm. They love the whipping, they love the abuse, they love the bondage and the vice. That's why they're constantly in it and manifesting it. That's why their masters are constantly heaping it on them and they're saying, give me another. You think you're somehow any different than the majority of the rabble public slaves who don't know themselves, therefore don't know God, therefore don't know their future and destiny or how to effectuate it, how to activate it, how to co-create it?
All right.
Your ignorance and arrogance combo is fascinating to me.
So you say you related to that Councilman Eric, whatever, and so why don't you or can't you picture yourself in a role like that? A councilman.
Because I don't believe that the answers to a corrupt government are going to be joining a corrupt government. The answer to corrupt government is to bring the individual corrupt out of their corruption through an example and a creation. You don't join it and forsake who and what you are to be a part of it, knowing that they're going to make an enemy out of you and whack you or throw you out. Seems foolish to me.
Yeah, but
I mean, I'd be in favor of that if most of the slaves who do little to nothing, who come here every day or vote every day, would actually put a fucking costume on and fill the positions and the roles and be better at it and distinguish public and private and do the job. I'm open to it. I'd be open to see how it turns out. I don't believe it's necessarily my lot in life, nor do I believe if everybody tried it that it would necessarily change the dynamic. I guess it's worth a shot.
Well, you said you related to them. You saw that they were voting on a $300,000, whatever it was. Your influence and your allocation of actual resources would be much greater than just dealing with some low-level policy enforcer, which is bunk, in my opinion.
I don't see it that way. Again, you just heaped onto me the Jesus story and how I don't serve Jesus and I'm not like him and I don't understand him. The whole story of Jesus was he didn't join the system and the churches and everything else of Babylon in order to take people out of it or change it. He was speaking the word and living the word as much as he perceived directly from God, and he surrendered the rest in faith. So, nowhere in that story does it teach us to put on the costumes and regalia and embody the traditions of these worldly people. It teaches us the exact opposite, to come out of it. And the way that you bring people out of it is by showing them an example of a different reality and understanding that they can embody and create.
Well,
furthermore, just by being outside the system, I can provide an understanding and potentially a solution for those inside. So if folks really wanted to change themselves in this system, they would listen to someone like me and they would embody the Tao as much as possible in their profession. And you would see an immediate change in the way that policy enforcement was done. Policy enforcement doesn't have to necessarily be an inherently negative thing. Most policy, if it's written correctly, would just be a codification of an original common sense idea. Don't throw trash on the ground. Don't pollute your environment. Don't do 100 fucking miles an hour down a back road. This is common sense advisory shit that every slave should know, but seemingly doesn't. So they have to be told.
Well, we're seeing that with that nanny police officer trying to be dude's friend. Instead
but you're not getting it. You have a nanny state because you have a populace of broken children. Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? You get the government you deserve. You are a broken childlike personality. So you're complaining about a mirroring dynamic of who and what you are internally, as within, so without, as above, so below. The government who's now put themselves above you has done so because you've put yourself beneath them. Don't you vote for Donnie Trump? I rest my case. You get what you give in life. Your life becomes a product of who and what you are, combined with who and what everyone else is around you and part of your community / state / world. Look around you and you can figure out why the situation is the way it is. Because the majority of this realm is populated by broken children who need a mommy and daddy. Hence a nanny state.
Well, it seems that no matter what I say, you're just going to contradict it, and that's fine. But the results are you shifted your focus away from policy enforcement to the upper level rings of government, and I'm happy about that. Okay, I won't even take the credit for.
I don't know where you. I don't know. You're concluding more things from your delusional mind. You're concluding more things from your delusional mind, and I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate you characterizing what I'm doing in a false sense and then making it true. You're constantly creating different stories and narratives in your mind in order to cope with what you're experiencing. It's not a good quality. It's a quality of the insane.
Is the summer of no license still on?
I don't have a license. I've never had one. I've never gotten any of the documentation. What you're talking about.
All right, man.
You need to be medicated, or you need to go do a spiritual practice, because you're probably not going to have the wherewithal and the care and discipline to take a year or two off and get back to knowing yourself and what creation is and connecting to that Holy Spirit. You're just going to latch on to Jesus, keep voting, paying the tax, and degrading like the majority of the other citizen slaves. So you either need to be medicated to come out of your chaos and confusion, or you need a spiritual practice, which would be better off for you. Then you wouldn't have the side effects of the medication.
There's a spiritual truth that you're missing. And that the fact is, you can't know the Holy Spirit without faith in Jesus Christ. You can't. It's impossible.
That's not a spiritual truth. That's a physical truth. You wouldn't have known that without the physical book that you claim is the all of the all. You have no way of proving that somebody you have no way of proving that someone in the Amazon, if they went into metaphysical realm or meditative prayer realm, that they would encounter a white, blue-eyed Jesus to save them. This is your delusion. This is your cultism. It doesn't exist everywhere else. So until it does, I don't believe you, and I don't believe anyone else. Because there's a force of creation that's in every being. It doesn't matter if you're in the middle of the Amazon or the middle of the fucking desert. It's going to be there for you to experience and activate with. And then there's going to be times where your false self creeps in and you make quote unquote mistakes. That's the human experience. Doesn't require a Jesus story or archetype to be a part of the experience or the revelation of the force of creation. If it did, then 3/4 of the world wouldn't have a concept of God. And all of them do. Just because they're not like your false concept of God for them to understand it doesn't mean it's not true, because the experience is still the same. It's still the same one truth, one life, one way, essentially, just called something different. You're in the world and of it. You're indoctrinated. You are the antithesis of what Christ was here to teach and be and do. Just because you won't see it or can't see it or accept it doesn't mean it's not true. You don't have answers and solutions. You have some balls to come on here and call yourself a preacher and a minister and say you get people to the word and back to God. You're a fucking fraud. You're a coward and you're a charlatan. Pretty much those are all the same things. I'm giving you synonyms.
Can I just ask you one question? Why the hell is God going to
stop you yet? Have I? And you just asked me a question. So now you need to say, can I ask 2 questions?
Can I ask another question?
Or passive aggressive nonsense. Have I stopped you yet from interfering with whatever I'm doing, because it's an open-ended broadcast and I'll just take it wherever I feel like going? And if I want to
I
entertain your
appreciate that.
nonsense, I will. Have I stopped you from asking questions?
No, I appreciate it. You know, but let me ask the question: why is God going to forsake Jesus Christ for any dude in the Amazon or for you?
I don't know what that
Why?
means. You're
I don't know
delusional.
what
You're
that means.
hallucinating. You're presuming that some Jesus Christ figure is flying around the ether like some alien, some Pleiadian god. I don't know what you're talking about.
The
You sound
sacrifice on the cross.
insane. You sound insane, and it makes sense because you look insane when you came on camera.
All right.
Most of you religious Jesus freaks who don't know yourself and the truth are insane. You're constantly imagining shit and projecting it onto everyone else, and you can't even explain your own experience or substantiate it, which leads us to believe you don't even know what's happening, and you're not even really having the experience. It's some kind of a wish, a want, a desire, some kind of a fucking drug that you cling to. Misrepresent it. You've not yet told anyone an experience that they can comprehend or access in any way with any kind of systems dynamic. You just go, I hallucinated a blue-eyed Jesus. He's the God. He's the all. Without him, no one can be or do anything. And I go, I'm pretty sure someone implanted this in your subconscious and you're playing out some program. If you were born in the middle of the Amazon rainforest, you wouldn't know anything about Jesus, and it would be ridiculous if someone tried to convince you needed it when you've lived your whole fucking life for generations without it. You sound ridiculous. I'm sorry to say that. I know so many folks are so sensitive about their own personal Jesus and their own anthropomorphized hero, God, daddy figure subconsciously that's going to save them from what they're not creating and doing. I know that you guys get really upset when your daddy gets questioned, but you can't explain it, and we don't believe you're having the experience because you act today like a broken child. If Jesus was your daddy and he was alive in your life, he'd be stewarding you better than what I'm looking and listening to at now, I suspect. So I don't believe you. There's no reason to believe you. The only reason you have to believe you is your anecdotal, unprovable, nonsensical experience. And it's not convincing, far from it. As a matter of fact, like I just said, your look and presentment is more convincing that you're insane than that you have some connection to the one God you call Jesus. Just so you know.
All right, listen. I'm not convincing. I've told you that from the start. I tell all the people that from the start, okay? But look at the results. You've shifted away from low-level policy to agency, which is good. That's where you should be. There's a rite of passage that's going on here. You don't need to be in the low-level mud anymore, in my opinion, okay? Now, the fact of the matter is, you talk about the Holy Spirit, but there is no access to the Holy Spirit without faith in Jesus Christ. And that's just the spiritual truth of the matter. I don't care if you were born 13,000 years ago or yesterday. That's just the way it is, and that's his way, according to the Word of God. Okay, so that's all I'm saying.
Are you done with your cyclical tard rant we've heard before? I get that you believe the Bible given to you by high-level Masons is the direct word of God because you're a dupe tard. So I'm just going to let you accept that that is the word of God, just like every Muslim says the Quran is the word of God, just like every dumb Jew slave says the Torah or Talmud is the word of God directly. You're all dogmatic dupe tards. You've all been divided and therefore controlled and used against yourselves and each other by a one world order force and an organization that's been here from the beginning of time, seemingly. Get a clue.
I mean, if you
There's
think I'm
truth
dogmatic,
in those books, but they're not directly the word of God. If they were, they would never have been written. God does not write books, dumbass.
No, men do, and God spoke to man ever since Adam. So
you're so stupid and low-level consciousness, you can't even figure out all the books they wrote. God, as you call it, is now changing all the words in the book just to play a trick on you. What they call mandala effect, there's a good chance it's real. And it's God's way of saying, stupid, simple, worldly, lowly motherfuckers, stop going to the book to access me and who and what I am and live like it. You're embarrassing yourselves and what this
Christ, Paul. Seriously.
You're gone. Bye. Go pray to Jeebus. I'm done with you. Will you take your own leave, or are you going to make me throw you out now?
You're going to have
of course
to throw
you
me
are,
out.
because you're a petulant, belligerent child. grown man, 48 years old,
That's
a
gonna
man
be your
35,
testimony.
asks you to fucking leave his house, and you're going to stomp your feet and say no because you're a broken fucking child and you need a daddy. And rather than submit to your daddy online, which I obviously am, you're so worried about me and following me constantly and talking about me. Instead of submit to your online daddy, you'd rather rebuke the man in his true form for your illusion. Okay? I'm not interested in it. You're just like every broken hoe bitch that I'm not going to wind up fucking because I can't. We can't intercourse, right? It's a business term. So I'm not talking about fucking you. Don't get excited. We can't move forward in intercourse, right? Because you're deluded and delusional and you're constantly projecting and rejecting, and you somehow think you're going to lead me. You know how many broken bitches can't get their life together and think when they meet me, it's their job to teach me something and lead me? I go, I think you're a little off on this. If we're going to play this game, I think you're a little off on it. I might have something to teach you.
All right.
You know, I might have something to show you, but I don't see anything you're going to teach and show me. You know how many broken, goofy bitches I met in the forest? Got no money, no job. They're the father of their child's a fucking bozo, slave. They have no communication dynamic, but because they play with tarot cards and believe on Pachamama, they're going to teach me and show me something about life. Fascinating.
Listen,
no reason to believe it's true. Can't look and tell by anything looking at them and what they're doing that's true. But somehow it's going to happen.
I thought you had a bad idea. That's all I said back then, and I'm telling you.
I'm not interested.
Say you're
Hello,
interested in truth.
Inauthentic, corporate, desperate, codependent male. I don't think of you. I'm not interested in what you think and feel about me, and I'm not asking you for your constant advice for me that you keep giving. You're worse than a mama, and I'm glad I didn't have one. I'm so glad. Like before, I used to pine away for the love of my mother, right? Or the love of a woman. And it would just destroy me, right? I went on drugs, you know? Now looking back with every experience I've had, I'm so thankful and grateful I was born to the family I was and absent of a mama to constantly do what the fuck you're doing to me as a man. This is what I watch all of you broken males do with your mama. They follow you around. They tell you what you should be. They devour you, and they keep you from being what you're meant to be. And you wind up an old, lonely, broken, emasculated bitch. And there's no real woman within 10 miles of you that want to be anywhere near you because you got nothing going on. And you want me to become part of that dynamic. It's fascinating. I don't want to be like you. I don't want to live like you. What used to destroy me, I'm now thankful and grateful for because I can actually be a man, my own man, without this toxic, feminine mama's spirit that you broken boys carry around everywhere, living in fear, prioritizing comfort and safety, and letting other men run your life. You're an embarrassment. You're an asylum case. You're unactualized and unrealized. You have some nerve with the personality disorder you exhibit coming here and attempting to try to change me and teach me. It's uncanny.
Assumption.
Since the day I turned on this camera, it's uncanny how many unactualized, unrealized, effeminate, disempowered, loser failure males with no purpose and vision want to change me and tell me how to live, along with a bunch of other broken bitches of the same like and kind. It's fascinating. I can't get over it. It's like one of the main reasons I come here at this point.
All I said was that I thought you had a bad idea, and I've offered you some spiritual truth, and that's it, man. I'm not trying to be your mommy or nothing.
You won't stop. You won't shut up. You won't stop. You won't go away. You're like a broken bitch hanging on my coattails. You don't have what I have. You're not doing what I'm doing. You're pretending you're trying to help me when you're really sucking off me and using me.
I don't know what to say. You
don't know what to say. I know, like most broken bitches who are not really in touch and empathic as they think they are, when you ask them a direct question, they don't know what to say back or how to describe their inner space. But you're so intuitive and empathic and co-creative. Give me a break.
Nothing that you're saying about me is true.
You need therapy. You and the majority of folks online in this world need intense therapy and spiritual practice. No other way to see it.
Well, I wasn't your enemy, and I'm still not your enemy. And so, I'm just gonna leave like
I
that.
never said you're my enemy. You're victiming now, and you're draining me, broken bitch. Like every broken bitch who I wind up in my life that winds up gone. You're draining me with your
I don't see
projections
why.
and rejections. You're rejecting what I'm
just
saying
sitting
and what
here.
my wishes are while projecting yours onto me and your skewed perspective.
Your whole thing has been an insult to me. Your whole
I never
spiel,
said
your
you
whole
were my
dance thing.
enemy. You're victiming and pretending there's a war going on here. There's not. I just asked you to leave because I think you're boring, uninteresting, delusional, codependent, duplicitous, disingenuous. Do I need to go on? Disempowered? Did I say boring and uninteresting? I think I did, but I'll double down on that. No one wants to listen to you on here, including me. Can I make this any more clear? You're not gone yet. You're still here. When I asked you to leave, you said, I'm not leaving.
Well, this is the first
You're a
time we've actually
parasitic,
gotten down to
vampiric,
business and
codependent,
had an
narcissistic,
exchange.
broken fucking hoe. I don't need any more of them in my life. I got plenty of them to choose from if I wanted it.
Yeah, but none of them even challenged your stupid idea. All right? Right? Meanwhile, you're sitting there belittling me, insulting me, disrespecting me, grandstanding on me, backstaging me, cowardly like whatever you say. And all I've offered you is a pushback to your stupid idea about going to jail for some stupid low-level policy enforcement last week. And because the ego and the broadcast and the branding, I understand. You have to look a certain way. I get that. But facts are the facts. So take care, man. Good luck.
Thank God. That's so predictable too. You want the loser failure to leave? Just give him what he's acting like he wants. Just like every broken hoe and bitch. Instead of resisting, you just here's the light, here's the stage, you take over. Since you're interrupting me anyway on monologues and interacting with the audience, right? As soon as you give them what they want, then they go like this and run off because they're such a cowardly, fearful, dissolute, uninteresting slave. But I have to be their source of entertainment. It's literally like every broken bitch you're going to date in the modern day world, like 3/4 of them or more. I'm their constant source of entertainment, source of evaluation, source of change that they're going to enact. I'm like their everything. And I go, you're not entertaining. You're not funny. You're not interesting. You're honestly not that cute and that good looking. Right? And I'm not necessarily talking about the freak. Like every goofy broken bitch is what that man is acting like. I go, what is this? And then if you go, hey, I think we're done, or you just stop reaching out because there's nothing there, they go, you're so egotistical and narcissistic because I'm okay with me and I'm okay with having interactions with other people that aren't you because you're the list of things I said, or I may just be cool with you and accept you as you are, but you're constantly projecting onto me who and what I need to be. Like I need to change and get better for you when you're a loser, failure, done nothing, going nowhere. Bizarre. But I'm the narcissist, egotistical one. I have a list of qualities at this point I've worked on and attempt to emulate or co-create that others, and including myself, seem to get value from and respect. You have almost none of that, yet I have to change for you, and you're poor and broke, right? If we're going to get worldly on it, right? Am I wrong? Am I off on something here, Timmy? This fascinating dynamic we're seeing with these toxic feminine bitches in male or female form who act like Paulie has to change to be given the privilege of being able to co-create with them when I don't even really want to anyway.
No, man. I mean, why is it that these folks are, they're always, they've got nothing on the ground to show? Do you have a successful relationship or two or three or none? Do you have a successful organization? Do you have a successful organization that you've helped? And you can be at the bottom or the top.
Hollow. I'm in a dark hollow with stickers on the wall.
Okay. So no relationships, no fulfilling career.
No.
Do you do art that somebody likes?
This is my art. Coming online and shitting on what Paul enslaved on.
Okay. Do you have a family that that
Well, I
we lead?
do, technically, but they want nothing to do with me. A lot like people online for some reason. Probably because I'm so connected to Jesus.
Hmm. Yeah. That's interesting. Do you have anything in the world that would be a reflection of your grand spiritual wisdom?
Well, yeah, the last hour and a half I just did on this broadcast. You didn't see it? It was amazing. 4 stars. I'm rating it. No one else is rating. I'm rating my own performance. 4 stars.
Wow. I mean, we should just all listen to you, right? I mean, you've achieved nothing.
I mean, I wasn't going to say it directly like that, but pretty much that's the intimation. I mean, I do have a connection to Jesus, the Lord.
Right. Everyone should just listen to you because you just say it, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, what else do you need? I told you my story about seeing a blue-eyed Jesus appear to me in my bedroom. He touched me. You know, Paul Slave said it's the ghost of Michael Jackson, but I don't believe him. I think it's really Jesus.
I mean, I'm
Why are you
convinced.
laughing at
Like,
that? Why are you?
it's a nervous tick, I guess I do when I'm standing in greatness. I mean, we should all just shut the fuck up and just send you all of our money, women, firstborn sons, and
Oh, yeah, pretty
and we'll
much.
all
I
bow
mean, we're
down.
pretty much creating a system right now to make that happen.
I mean, let's do it. Where do I jack in?
Well, you don't have to. It's already going to come up all around you, and we're going to assimilate you. All the inauthentic corporate beta males who are disempowered and impotent are going to have all the things and all the women and all the resources. We're going to have all the power and control, and we're going to get you to choose it.
All right. Yeah.
Jesus.
Just point me in the direction, Jesus.
Right. Now you're getting it, Timmy. Are you going to vote for Donald Trump this election?
Yeah, obviously,
Give
if
your
that's what
power
you
away
want.
on record?
If that's
Are
what
you
you
going to tell
want.
the God of creation that you want another man to be your ruler?
Yeah, I mean, please.
All
Orange
right, now
hair,
you get it.
that's the way.
You're onto it now.
Yeah, man.
You know, you're
I'll
really
just
kind of
wait.
boring, Timmy. Like, I'm kind of
I'll just
interesting.
wait.
You're kind of boring. What's up with
I'll
that?
just wait. Tell me what
Why
to
does
do,
Paul Enslaved,
Jesus.
you know, why does Paul Enslaved, like, even respect you at all and hang out with you? He should hang out with me and respect me. You're an idiot. You're not even cool.
Yeah, sign him up.
You're not even interesting at all. You don't know about Jesus.
Sign him up. I don't.
You don't know
Sign
anything
that guy
about
up.
politics.
The
Finance.
freak. Here's the keys. You have the keys now.
All right, Timmy, I can't keep doing this. It's hurting my fucking nose.
Yeah.
Even just talking, even living like that loser failure for like 3 minutes has just fucking upset me. Like almost did harm to me. I feel like I've harmed my nasal passages. How pathetic.
Yeah. I don't have that problem. Nose is big.
Where do you want to go? You want to go back to this video of the fucking cop, lady cop, hot for copper?
Yeah, see how that plays out.
See how it plays out? Oh, yeah. Brian from High Impact did do that. No, he didn't. Lose it at 10. Where are we at here?
Some folks might say you never had it at all.
Right. Wait, what?
So,
what's your name again?
Deputy Kelsey Bramer. You can just call me Kelsey.
Kelsey? Damn, I hate that you're a cop. Man, cuz you're so pretty.
I do it for my kids.
Get a different job. No,
I do it for my kids.
you could strip and make more money than fucking.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
Why?
I respect myself too much, and I know what you're gonna say because I'm a clown and shit like that.
Yeah, it's a clown. There's no good cops. They're all bad. How many times have you saw lying ass, bitch ass cops lying?
I haven't
making false statement. That's a lie.
You can say that.
You know how many I've had on the. You know how many I've had on the stand and caught. Man, it's easy to catch you guys in lies because I don't know. It just is. But yeah.
I mean, you can say that if you want. So, but it was nice meeting you. I didn't catch your name. I know you're not going to give it to me.
No, I'll give you my first name.
You can give me your first name.
It's Brad.
What?
Yeah, but you'll know anyways, because I have a rather large YouTube channel, so you'll be on YouTube. I got 2 cameras going. I don't know if you notice it. Yeah, they'll love your attitude and they'll hate mine, but they all understand that cops are pieces of shit. And I'm sorry that it's that way. It just is.
I'm sorry.
Did you
that
see? Have you
feel
watched
that
all the
way.
videos of people getting shot and killed by you guys lately, unarmed?
I have. Oh, it was nice meeting you.
Yeah, you gotta
I'm
go?
done. Yeah, I gotta
Okay.
go. I'm sorry. I'll get out of
Kelsey,
here.
if I ever see you out of that clown outfit, I might ask you out. But you
Maybe
ain't.
if you never call me a bitch.
I would never call you a bitch. I'm.
cool if
Hey,
you never tell
you
me I
you know
can be a
you might not believe this, but I'm the kindest, most loving person in the world. But I hate police.
I am also.
Yeah, I can tell.
So
Good
have a
attitude.
good night, okay?
You as well. Thank you. What did he give you? A ticket? Fucking bitch. I don't worry. I told her what it was.
It's important that you guys know what your rights are. In the First Amendment, you have freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of religion.
Yeah, it's important to know that your rights come from the Constitution. No, it's not. Your thoughts on any of that, Timmy? You just keep with the narratives. They keep with the know your rights. The amendment gives you the right. No, God gives you the right. The amendment protects the rights. You're not a party to the Constitution. They swear to it, so they're bound by it. This isn't that difficult, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get the words and terms correct. Let's get the fucking verbiage correct. Let's get the phraseology correct. Stop accepting less for yourself and each other. It's fucking embarrassing.
Here's a prediction. I predict that something that may trigger civil war or something like that is they're going to make a massive change to the Constitution, and then people are going to freak out thinking that it applies to them.
Yeah, I disagree with that. And forgive me if I'm white knighting or I'm simping and tricking, but this is evidence why women should be cops more than the beta males running around pretending to be men, because she was rather cordial. She was rather disarming in a positive sense. She kind of put everyone at ease. She had a rather pleasant presentment given the alternative. I'd rather look at her than the rest of these fucking chimpanzee clowns on steroids with the tattoo sleeves. Fucking coward clown, broken little boys with the haircuts. So this to me is evidence why, if you're going to do a whole society run by betas, I say let the women run it all. They might be able to talk like normal fucking people. They might be able to put their pride and ego aside. They might be able to be more attractive, so they kind of put us at ease, so we're able to talk like normal people instead of being on guard and full of fear and acting like we're going to be killed on the side of the road. Might get further here with a whole society of beta males with their mama's spirit anyway. You might get further with sending mama up to the side of the car than a daddy male authoritarian figure that they've never really known or are comfortable with. You know, not that necessarily they should be. So, you know, maybe this is one mirror after the next. If we're not getting devouring Jezebel harlot mama, we're getting tyrannical father, just like the Freudian psychology suggests. So maybe somewhere in the middle. I don't know how that works. Tim, your thoughts on any of that?
Yeah, I mean, she'd be pretty solid on the other side, right? If she would do that demeanor and have that kind of poise. But I don't think she does. I don't think she would. Because
there's a story about an outlaw. He was an expert shooter. I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but I did, so I must. There's an outlaw shooter who was an expert marksman, wound up killing dozens of cops when they were chasing him because he got in some dispute with a corrupt law enforcement officer who tried to push taxes on him for making moonshine. He was not only not trying to stop him because it's lawful, he was trying to get him to pay him money under the table so he'd protect him. So he told him no, and then he tried to fuck with him. He started chasing him, so he went on the run. He was gunning down one after the next because they can't shoot better than him. So eventually, some woman sheriff came to apprehend him, and he jumped out and surrendered. He said, I'll shoot one of them, but I'm not going to shoot a woman. So ultimately, it might be, whether it's a good tactic or stratagem or just a good practice, it might be a good practice if you're going to do authoritarianism. You know, let the women run it and let them figure out if they're going to pretend to be little boys and act out and do tyranny, or if they're actually going to have a divine mother spirit, not the corrupt mama spirit that I talk about here. Go ahead, Tim. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I was just saying that I think this woman has the verbiage, the way to speak, but I don't think she's operating off the blue line code, right? So she thinks that's where she's getting her confidence, right? You switch the role, take her out of that costume, and I don't think she's gonna do that. But if she did, she would use her force for the light side. Then she'd be pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean that cop didn't seem like she was that emboldened by her position. She seemed rather grounded and rather centered, and just kind of like, well, I believe I'm doing a job here. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm sorry you feel that way, and I'm going to kind of go about my business. So, given the choice, right, if I had to accept a world of policy enforcement, I'd rather have an interaction like that that's somewhat reasonable and de-escalated versus the typical tyrannical control, conquer, dominator, ego personality disorder that we see so often.
Agreed.
All right, what else do I have here? Slave news, I guess. Oh, we're coming up on the third hour. That went by fairly quickly. My perspective. There you go. Sovereign Moon's deputy. See, Snafu, I had the same story up here. Going to accuse me of attacking myself subliminally, like Brian did, according to him. Tornadoes rip through Midwest states. Go to that.
Real quick before you play it, there's a comment here. Wait, the Constitution doesn't apply. I don't know if you're being facetious or not, but you tell me, does it? And can you prove that?
One been here like a year and a half, and it's like he either doesn't listen to me, or he can't compute, or he's not willing to. Like it's incredible. Like how many times I say things that I go, here I am looping again, saying the same thing again. I know when I'm doing it, and sure enough, while I'm doubting myself and going, why am I even here and looping on the same shit again? Someone's asking me more about what I've said over and over again, and acting like they didn't just hear me for the 1,000th time. The Constitution doesn't apply to you. It's a piece of paper with signatures on it. It's a contract. You didn't sign it. You're not named in there. So as a contract, it doesn't apply to you. The premise in there does, because the contention of the contract is that we all have God within us and our rights come from God. That means no man can come in to give us rights or take them away. So the Constitution doesn't apply to you directly, nor does it need to. It only needs to bind them to their duties and obligations, which it does because they swear on it. Once they swear to it, they don't become parties to it, but they get bound by the terms and conditions of it. The man and woman, the people, are not party to the contract because they're not named in there and they have not signed the paperwork. Do you get that? The contract of the Constitution doesn't have to apply to you because the Bible talks about a covenant between God and man. That's a contract. So the original contract between God and man to govern oneself in truth and equity and trust is always valid and able to be accessed and experienced and applied. Results are really not important to a man of faith, at least. So does any of that ring true to you? Does any of that make sense? Are you able to comprehend that? Or do I need to say it again and again and again and slower? Common sense. If you just don't think too deep, just get your intrusive thoughts and feelings out of the way and don't think too deep. Just listen to what I'm saying and try to conceive of how what I'm saying is true.
All right, since he won't come up.
So then why did they make it?
So why did they make it, Paul?
Because it's an attempt to codify universal law and God's law and conscience and equity and trust in a form of contract to make the officials swear to it so they would be bound by it.
But then if that doesn't apply to me, then I don't have any rights.
No, Timmy, that's the thing, because I just said the Bible speaks about the experience of the objective covenant between the God force and man, revealing universal law and truth to man directly, hence self-governance. So the constitutional codification of the original covenant does not need to apply to you because universal law does. And all written documentation and contract are merely an attempt to interpret and codify original law. And philosophy. You seem really confused. I could just tell by looking at your face. You seem really thrown off and confused there.
Can you? I just need a piece of paper to tell me what I can and can't
You better
do.
take some notes here, pal. You better take some notes, and you better go hit the dictionary. I would presume, and you better go do a spiritual practice where you get back to yourself and away from all the stimuli and the slaves, their projections and rejections.
All I do all day is my boss tells me what to do, and then when I go home, my woman tells me what to do, and when I go to church on Sunday, the pastor tells me what to do, and I live a pretty good life.
That's the problem. You've never learned how to think and feel and act and be for self, which is like higher self, right? You never got back in tune with higher self and your conscience, your authenticity and accountability, responsibility. You're just kind of living, in the nether regions, in the nether realm, like some purgatory.
Aren't we all born with some kind of inalienable rights? Who is anyone to rule over?
That was good, Brendan, how you sounded that out there, because that's a big word. Inalienable. All right. That's good.
Space aliens.
You're making progress there. Yeah, I like that. An alien is something outside of the common sense and the common law. You could argue still under universal law, but someone who's not part of the land and the people and the culture and the society of that land is alien, right? It's an alien concept. You could argue the word is alien. It's kind of outside the boundaries and purview. I mean, you could argue I am an alien. I am outside the legal society and its culture and everyday practices and processes and procedure. So I have alienable rights. Legal society cannot lean on me, take my property, my rights, or my personal choice. I'm outside of that. I'm an alien. But yeah, aren't we all born with? That's what I said. Right? I've said that 3 or 4 times now. That the creation is here. We didn't create it. We're a part of it. And through the recognition of self and conscience comes the revelation of truth that we have personal choice, free will, and a right to do whatever we please if we don't cause loss, injury, and harm. And if we pay our debts, we honor our commitments. That is what we used to call freedom. And I know that's really going to probably throw you off. So I don't know where you get the who is anyone to rule over another human being. I never said that was legitimate. I may said it's necessary. It's necessary that dynamic exists to teach us something, but I didn't say it was necessarily legitimate, technically.
But it is, though, because it's just like
it is, but it isn't.
The
See, it's a
mafioso
paradox.
code, though. But it is because they opt in, right? They opt in.
Yeah.
Ignorance of the law is no excuse. They opt in a million ways to Sunday, and then the Babylonian Godfather goes, knock knock, time to pay up, or time to put the rainbow flag on your Twitter and say go Biden, and if you don't,
right? But you could argue
you're out.
ethically, right? You could argue objectively, spiritually, that the dynamic needs to exist to teach us something, and it's a product of who and what we are or have become. But the illegitimacy to me ethically is most folks are not given informed consent, and they're not able to manage their own affairs. So by accepting their paperwork and trying to enforce a contract, they're derelict in their duty and in their discernment, because they know the average person is retarded. They know the average person is dishonorable and bad faith. Their reasoning is it's precisely because the average person is that government needs to exist. They may be quote unquote right, or they may have some logic there. But again, to pimp on, it's the same way as if we went into the pimping world and venue and they go, this is spiritually sound karmically. This person's a grown person. They're making their own choice. I go, yeah, but ethically it's incorrect, because this is some broken, goofy bitch who's come up in a broken home. She's on drugs, and you're deceiving her, and you're making her think that there's some light at the end of this tunnel that ain't a train coming. So I don't think that it's ethical. You could argue it's not immoral, because everybody's choosing in the interaction to be part of the interaction, and we're not directly causing loss, injury, and harm. But it's definitely, to me, unethical.
Yeah.
If you know better, if you have more discernment than that, if you have knowledge of self, it's absolutely unethical.
Yeah. I mean, that's for sure. I mean, yeah, it starts to, in my mind, it starts to bleed over. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's like nobody is asking folks what any of those papers mean, right? So, they just presume, the FPAT, the fear, presumption, assumption, tacit acceptance, and hearsay, right? They presume, all those letters on the paper mean something, and then they never get clarity or verification or validation. So, kind of is what it is. But yeah, and it seems to me that those folks have it in their spirit that they are slaves. So they are desperate and pining for, an in-the-world daddy, because they
Wild Indian says they break people, then call them broken. To be broken is a choice. That's what I don't think folks are accepting. So they don't break you. They create a system and then play the part of a system that spiritually is there to test you and challenge you. You either choose to be broken or you choose to continue on and do what's true and what's right. That's a characterization.
This is
that's a determination you've come to.
This is such a problem, man.
Yeah, I'm not going to choose. I don't even care what my dysfunction may be in everyday life. I'm never going to, at this point, characterize myself as broken.
Yeah, it's ultimate victimhood. It's like saying you have a castle and you're standing there, and then you're saying, oh, well, the enemy is in charge of my castle walls, so they broke it. They broke my walls, and then they go and beat me, and they call me broken. It's like, bro, where are you in that statement, in that idea?
Yeah, where's your power to choose? Like Marcus Aurelio says, as the AI calls it, Zeus himself could bind my hands and saw off my leg, and I would still be in charge of my response or reaction. I still get to choose how I perceive of what's going on there. Right? So just because I go to jail or get handcuffed or have whatever happen and it causes me fear or pressure or doubt at times does not mean that I will characterize in myself and in the world as myself being victimized. I have the honor to do what I'm doing because it's true and it's right. I do that for me. Right? So, nowhere in that interaction do I choose to be a victim. Do I choose to be broken by their tests and challenges?
Yeah, that's like your boy with the leprosy said, you can be, a king can move a man, a king can move a pawn, right, and give an order. But at the end of the day, it's that man is the keeper of his own soul. So at the end of the day, he's got to stand before God and be like, I did X, I did Y. So it can't be, oh, well, I was told to, or there was this incentive or this hamburger with the, I was offered a hamburger to rebuke you.
I want you to think of hamburgers and French fries.
Oh my God. There used to be like William 70 virgins.
Wilhelm.
Yes, just hamburger and a couple of miserable fries.
Yeah, that's Mr. Wonderful.
We need everyone to get vaccinated. So we know we have to make it convenient. We know we have to make it easy. We know we need to speak to their trusted community voices, doctors, et cetera. We're doing all that. But we also know that incentives help. They really do. And so we've been announcing free tickets, gift cards, all sorts of incentives to encourage people. A lot of people are ready to get vaccinated. They just haven't gotten around to it. They need a little extra incentive. We're doing that now. And we are going to have a live correspondent this morning talk about this, and from a site that means a lot to all of us as New Yorkers, because one thing I think that does unite New Yorkers is a love of Shake Shack. So live from the original Shake Shack location in Madison Square Park, the CEO of Shake Shack, and he is generously joining into this incentive effort, and I welcome him. My pleasure to introduce CEO Randy Garutti. Welcome, Randy.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor. Good morning, New Yorkers. I'm Randy Garutti, the CEO of Shake Shack, and we are here live in Madison Square Park at the original Shack. 20 years ago, this Shack was born as a humble New York City hot dog cart to raise a little money for this park. And even today, all of our rent goes directly to paying for this park.
Scumbag, demented, defective fucking mental
here in
apes.
New York, and we are a New York company. And this year, We've been working hard to take care of our team, and our team has been working hard to take care of the recovery of this city and our communities. And we've got one more we want to add for you, New York. You know, these incredible mobile vaccine buses that are serving some of our most underserved communities here in New York. When you get your vaccine over this next few days, we're going to get you with a free Shack Burger card.
You got owned. You got pumped out like a bitch.
Around New York City.
And you don't want to acknowledge it. You don't want to admit it. That's what Satanism is.
Show us your vaccine card. We'll get you a free fries on us to say thank you. We are so excited. We love this city. We live here too. And we're going to get back. Get your vax, get your Shack, and let's gather up as a community again. The Shake Shack team is here for you in New York. We'll see you soon all around New York City and Shack.
Thank you so much, Randy. Thank you to the whole Shake Shack team. This is really going to help us out. And did you say free fries when you get vaccinated? I got vaccinated. You're saying I could get this? Some delicious fries? Wait a minute. But there's also a burger element to this? Let me check with Bill Neathart. Is it too early in the day to eat a burger? No. This could be
You think
breakfast.
Bill's a retard?
I want you to look at this and think about, again, some people love hamburgers, some don't. Really want to respect all ways of life. But if this is appealing to you, just think of this when you think of vaccination. Vaccination. I'm getting a very good feeling about
You get to
vaccination
receive what you receive.
Thank you.
I know what I'm.
Randy Garutti, and of course, Danny Meyer, who's doing so much to help us with the recovery, and the entire team. I've got to finish chewing for a moment. I think that would be more dignified, don't you think? Yeah. So.
Your thoughts, Timmy?
And
there's a burger element to this. There's a burger element and fries. I think the treatment's kicking in. Oh well, we're gonna save on burgers and fries. We're gonna give them to someone else. Timmy's card's deactivated. I don't think he's gonna need that anymore. Free burger fry card. We'll let Veronica use it. Veronica down there. Free fries and burger. Timmy's not gonna need his card anymore. Treatment's kicking in.
Don't.
Thoughts?
Don't.
One word when it comes to fascism and democracy. Don't. There you go, Timmy Biden.
Man.
All right. A couple more minutes of the Eric Mays compilation, and then we're going to wrap up. We're at the 3-hour mark. No sense overdoing it, saturating the market. At least tomorrow. All right, let's get to it.
Mr. Sir, you are about to order.
You out of order. Somebody dial 911. You're not going to come in here interrupting this. Man, we know when
Come on, you guys. Come on.
Yeah, I'm the supervisor. Man, look,
Mr. Mays,
somebody called.
Come on, you guys.
Get out of here. Okay, well, watch this. Watch this.
Mr. Mays, Mr. Mays, come on.
Don't do that in no damn meat.
Mr. Mays, please.
Get your hands off of me. You gonna get the hell out of here showing out.
Oh, goodness. Hey, can we take a 5-minute recess?
Go with that mess. You know what it is.
Okay, what you said was not accurate. I have been found.
Point of order. Why do you have point of order? Why do you have to argue with everybody because they don't agree with
elsewhere? Mr. Griggs, did you have something you wanted to say on the motion?
He wasn't in his turn. He was there. You just avoid me. And this is getting ridiculous.
Terry never stops talking.
Man, look, I'll tell you, I do ever stop talking. Quit lying on me. Quit lying on me. Enough is enough. Quit lying on me. I'm tired of it. You got all kind of recordings. Say it again, that I never stop.
Would you sit down, Mr.
No,
and conduct yourself?
No, I ain't gonna sit down. Would you
Then you are
quit
out of
curling your
order.
lips and fooling with people?
Then you are out of order. This is a second notice. You're out of order. Sit down and act with decorum.
Y'all careless me. I wouldn't sit down for you telling me to if I had to. You don't tell me what to do. You don't run nothing. I could have appealed them, but y'all keep voting wrong. And the more you vote wrong, the foolisher she act.
Would you like to say something, Mr. Winfrey?
I am not going to allow him to be the misogynist, egotistical.
Point of order, personal attacks are out of order. And you out of order, you gonna lose your right making personal attacks. And if you let her, I'm gonna blast her personally when she's finished. So deal with it. Hey, look, man, where this guy at? Because if you allow her to make personal attacks, I'm gonna go up one side and down the other. She out of order. She lose her right to speak at this meeting.
I don't have to lose my right here.
Oh, you gonna lose it here? You gonna run this? I'm gonna attack her personally.
You already have. She already said.
Ma'am, look, you taking up for this foolishness?
Elected official.
Hey, you out of order.
To conduct yourself in compliance.
Where is that officer?
You cannot harass.
It's been going on for a half hour.
You are a misogynist and you need to be stopped.
Can you remove? I asked her to be removed.
Yeah, no,
This been Miss Galloway. I asked her to be removed. We started a new slate. You fight me to condone personal attack. This has been going on a half hour. There he is. He needed to be here. Okay, then watch what's finna happen. God bless you. Watch what's finna happen when I respond. Since you gonna condone it, we gonna cut that off at the knees. Her and everybody else. But since you want the council to flow this way, that's how it's gonna flow. You take the side of that foolish. Watch when I respond. I warned her 2 times ago. Warned her now, and then after she warned, she did it on the way sitting down. You condoning it? My gloves is off. So here we go.
No, Joyce, we're not doing that.
She out of order now. Put her out. Put her ass out.
Joyce, I'm gonna need you to, Mr. Wet May.
I'm just telling you, I've been cool since we took leadership. They not gonna make this into what they want it to be. The way you do it, you get them out. When they see them getting out, it won't escalate. She done overstepped it. You condone it. Watch what done happen. I'm telling you, I asked her. You back me, not her. When I say get out, get out. It's on. That's how you want it.
And it was probably at best maybe 10%.
Can we have one meeting? Can we get some respect to listen to our guests? Please. It's been going on repeatedly. It's just disrespectful. I mean, just pause. They're not interested in hearing this.
Go ahead, Mr.
I'm a council person.
Thank you, sir.
Congrats, we all are.
She's out of order, and it's her first day back. Point of order. If you don't warn her quick, this meeting gonna go south quickly.
Councilman Mays.
Will you do it? She just got back. She's been missing in action.
Now you are out of order. I did say that she was out of order.
You give her first warning. Point of order.
No, I didn't give her
Well,
first
why?
warning.
That's my point. Because you warned me, giving me first warning, and then after me. Point of order.
So this is the thing. I am over being held hostage by Councilman Mays.
Point of order.
And no
Point of order. She's out of order. I ain't holding the hostage. What's the ransom amount? How much is the ransom for your hostage? No, you shut up. You didn't get her to tell me to shut up. I said point of order. You leave.
I will not allow
You
this
leave.
screaming.
You leave.
You must leave.
Point of order. When I say point of order, your job is supposed to
I am
stop.
a chair.
Point of order.
And I will
A chair's mouth stop.
I am asking you
Point
to
of order.
leave.
I'm asking you to stop your mouth when I say
Yes,
point of
you
order.
will stand still and wait
Well,
until
then
you leave
stand
the seat.
still
I will
until
not
you
allow
start
this.
coming to regular meetings. You can stand still. I bet I won't go there. You can go to this chair no more.
Leave the meeting.
Point of information.
Motion on the floor for a recess.
As it relates to notice as well. And Goyette.
There's a motion on the floor to amend this dead resolution.
Point of order. I said nothing out my mouth about dead. Madam Chair, you're not repeating my motion. I didn't say nothing about dead. That you out of order calling my motion and something about dead.
I don't agree.
Well, I'll appeal the ruling of the
Appeal
chair.
of the decision of the chair on the floor. Is there a second?
I second that.
Allegations of mismanagement of funds, wrongdoing, it's been on our agenda for a while. Now, what is this being passed out? Who's passing this letter? Who's passing this stuff out? Who's passing this stuff out?
Who's passing?
Is this the clerk or Miss Fields?
It's coming from Miss Fields.
Every week we get a ton of, we done killed 5 trees fooling with Miss Fields and this stuff. Every week we come in the meeting, it's a ton of stuff. The staff can't get the work done.
These are your leaders, please.
It's necessary. I don't know who's doing this with Miss Fields.
Order of the day.
I am on the order of the day. I'm on this letter, and it's being passed out. It distracted me when this stuff started being passed out. I got the letter. What I got ain't as thick as what's being passed out. So order of the day and pause my clock while I digest what's just passing out to me, which is the letter, while I'm talking. As a matter of fact, at the infant stages of the investigative hearing, Miss Fields and Miss Worthing called a press conference not to ask questions, but to call me a racist, a misogynist, narcissistic, in the middle of an investigative hearing on financial issues dealing with over 600 million.
It's printed out right here. Elementary.
And so what you trying to imply, Mr. Griggs, that
But
I'm
you're
not
not
going to have
You
an
guys,
elementary
come on. Councilman Mays,
I'm about to
just
cuss
tell-
you
would
out
you
with
tell,
that mess. You is
what's the
ignorant,
change?
man.
Councilman Mays.
Don't you know you ignorant?
Councilman Mays, you're being
Okay, well, check him for what he implying. Talking condescending,
Councilman
ignorant.
Mays,
I'll
you're
get
done.
it on. I
You're
like
done.
to get it out of the
Councilman
white folks.
Mays, you have already had your one warning.
But he
You are
ain't
being
white, ain't he?
disorderly.
He did say something condescending.
Councilman Mays, you are out of order.
You out of order.
Councilman Mays.
Lady approached me talking about she was the communications person. I told her, get away from me and go communicate. We had a protest out there dealing with House Esther. She approached me. Thinking, I don't know what y'all calling him. I want to see appointees. Ed Taylor, Phil Phelps came to my house. I cussed him out and told him, get the hell off my porch. Mr. Murphy, I'm almost wanting to call the chief of police and file a formal complaint on you on the record. What do you mean if we was in the street? I'm at 1101 South Saginaw. That's in the street. I live at 125 East Russell. That's in the street. Here you a self-proclaimed dope dealer. Said it at the county jail and gonna tell me something about how you went on the street. In high school, we called it bodacious. People acting bodacious. You sitting up in that chair acting what we call bodacious. So now he want to fix it up, but he don't want us to run the tape back and remember what he said. He said, I know it. Who you talking about?
Run it.
What? You out of order, sir. You out of order.
Councilman Mays.
Do you get the chief arrested? He out of order.
Councilman
Talking
Mays.
about run it.
Please,
You
please.
trying to keep your job as chief in a
Councilman-
city that's running lawless. Yeah. Now that ain't no point of order, but yeah, I can prove you spend more time with me. They got witnesses up here. You checking me because I'm talking to witnesses. Now you out of order. That's your first warning. You want me to get strict? There you go. Now you got your first warning.
Excuse me to my colleagues, I'll be removing myself, so he ain't got to give me no
Well,
word.
God bless.
All right, Timmy, I'm going to call it there, I think. I'm feeling complete, brother. You got anything that you want to leave us with or anything you want to address before we wrap up?
Nah, man, all I'm going to say is you slaves out there, look at all those healthy women with the short hair. Those are your leaders. Till next time, folks.
Thank you, Timmy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm calling that a resounding success. We will be back tomorrow, as always, 7 days a week, over 500 days straight, and counting, somewhere between 12 and 3 MDT. I am, of course, your humble moderator, narrator, co-creator. I wear many hats here. I am a one Paul Unslaved, a god of all media, some have said. I, of course, am too humble and too modest to accept that entitlement completely. I mean, I do, but I pretend I don't to appear humble and modest. I do that for you people. It's all for you. All right, now, Mazel from out west. I love you. If you don't love the truth back, forget about me. If you don't love the truth back, I'm going to probably tell you to go fuck yourself at some point. Directly or indirectly, that's been a habit with me here in this realm and on the broadcast. A lot like Eric Mays. All right, say goodnight to the bad guy. Get back to your life. All right, do what you do. Get the hell out of here.
Me, I always tell it, even when I lie. So say good night to the bad guy. Go on. The last time you're going to see a bad guy like this again.
The great reset's happening. So when you get all your pretty and nice shit taken away and your bullshit job that leads to nowhere, and you're forced back on the land and have to be self-sustainable and co-creative and work with what is, this talk about your feelings and your ego is going to go right out the window, because the God and the elements and nature are going to present what needs to happen next 9 out of 10 times. That's the difference between me and you. I got it in me, not on me, just like you do. I'm trying to work it out, bring the subconscious to the conscious and figure out who and what I am. Am I good or evil? Am I real and true? Am I a narcissistic, egotistical deceiver? That's the difference. I'm actually authentically trying to work it out while you lie to everyone and project your negative aspects of self onto me, and I don't appreciate it. And the universe don't appreciate it either. And the students of life in this audience don't appreciate it either. This isn't about love and money. This isn't about chasing bags or anything else in and of the world. This is about the Philo-Sophie, right? The love of knowledge, the love of wisdom, the love of understanding of self and applying it to actualize and realize and get better results for yourself and everyone else. I thought that's what we were doing here. So let's get the game back in its proper perspective. The motherfucker doing this shit shouldn't have to talk about it because you folks want to lie on it. It's embarrassing to me. I didn't come on here with the intention of the understanding that this is supposed to be for business or a hobby. That's why I show up the way I do 500 days straight. That's why I have a care in my heart with passion. That's why I do what's true and what's right and see through you motherfuckers and get amazing results for me. We can't allow the generalized experience of life and everything it has to offer, good, bad, and indifferent, to hold us back or keep us paralyzed or keep us fearful or self-doubting or unloving and uncaring of ourselves. How do I know? Because then look into me. That's all this is. I can see further than the rest. I can interpret beyond what's told and shown, and I can amalgamate and communicate the cause and effect and the root of the state of consciousness and awareness. That is a astounding testimony to the work that I've done on myself in this world and in this life and the practices I've walked with other people. The question and answer, the fellowship, the co-creational endeavors, and the conversation that leads to understanding. But again, we can't appeal to false emotions and false authority. That is the cornerstone of cognitive dissonance. You can't say that I'm respectable, righteous, honorable, presentable, and then I have balls and then turn around and hate me or catch feelings over me, be in that and live in that when you don't like it or when it doesn't turn out as favorably for you as you would have hoped or expected, right? That's the theme of a true common bond that goes long term versus the shallow, materialistic, worldly connections that come and go. It is what it is. Some people are down forever. Some people are down for the ride until they got to get off, right? And some people ain't down at all. So through the life experiences, firsthand experiences, through the tests and challenges, you learn more and more who and what is meant for you and who or what is probably not going to be able to sustain the ride. And that's okay.
God of all media.